second half of our Friday night doubleheader is set from Vancouver. The BC Lions, fresh off putting 50 spot on the Stampeders, welcome the Argonauts to town and hope to continue their 5-game winning streak against the Lions. BC in Toronto coming up next on TSN.
Anytime's great for football, but I know when it feels just right.
I'm gonna kick back, relax.
Watching football on a Friday night.
It's Friday!
And we're gonna be hard to tame.
You roll!
It's Friday.
Coast to coast.
The CFL is Canada's game.
We're all kicked up to booty!
And we ready for a fight. Kick back, relax.
Watching Friday night football.
The boys are all back. Playing CFL football. The game is up for grabs.
It's Friday night football tonight.
Nathan Rourke, not only the hottest quarterback, but maybe the hottest player in the league right now. What he's done over the last 5 games, has his team averaging 39 points a game. Is he the MOP of the league right now?
Absolutely, Milton. Why are you yelling? Nick Arbuckle, I'll tell you what, this, to whom much is given, much expected. Nick Arbuckle deserves a little more credit and respect. He will get a chance to earn it tonight.
Jake Herslow has quietly been one of the most consistent red zone guys. He's ranked 2nd in the league with 9 receiving touchdowns. Can he do that for his team tonight?
Well, it's amazing to think BC put up 52 points without this man, James Butler. He was out last week, but back in tonight, sitting at 989 rushing yards. He is set to surpass 1,000 yards for the 3rd time in his career. It is the second half of our doubleheader on TSN. Kate Burness alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stegall. A fabulous East-West matchup tonight. Davis, your storyline in this one.
Yeah, it's Nick Arbuckle, because this BC offense, we know what they're doing. We know what Nathan Rourke and this group has done. The only chance I think Toronto has to win this game is Nick Arbuckle has to have a monster night. And look, coming into this season, we didn't know what to expect. Obviously, he's the Grey Cup MOP. He's playing good football now in his career. Now he's playing excellent football. He's going to have to go out there tonight, and who knows his health, where he's at. But he's got to be magic tonight for them to have any chance, because BC's offense is rolling right now.
Yeah, totally agree with you. The way Nathan Rourke has been playing has been dynamite, and the only way Toronto Argonauts has a shot of winning if Nick Arbuckle can match him. And we've seen him do it.
Yep.
The last time they played, they put up 52 points. He was able to outduel him. So he's going to have to do that again, because I'm sure Nathan Rourke, that's in the back of his head, that he got outdueled. He's going to try to come out here and totally destroy this team. So Nick Arbuckle is capable of doing it. They'll need to do it. Ryan Dinwiddie spoke of his team needs to win their last 4 games just to have a chance to make the playoffs. So it's going to be an exciting game, and Nick Arbuckle's going to have the game of his life.
You got Herslow, Polk on one side, Hatcher, McInnes on the other. It's going to be a lot of deep bombs and touchdowns tonight. But I'm looking for which defense is going to step up and put a stop to it, because this guy's got to lead his team, and they just went cross-country, and that's going to be a tough task to match as well. We talked about Nathan Rourke and the job that he's been able to do, but somebody's got to step up between these 2 defenses and put a stop to these offenses if they want to be successful tonight.
Well, for me, we talk about Nick Arbuckle, but he could use some help. And one player I'm looking at is Janarian Grant. Last year, Special Teams Player of the Year, and he's had a couple of good returns this year. I think he has a kickoff return or a punt return, but on a consistent basis, he just hasn't been there. He can do so much for this team. You can get him involved in their offense. So I'm looking for him to step up, because depending on Nick Arbuckle just to duel out against Nathan Rourke, that's not easy. He's up to it, but I would rather have somebody like Janarian Grant also make some big plays.
Enoch, you mentioned, the defense and who's going to make a play. One group that's elevated is the front for BC. don't think their secondary has gotten any better over the last few weeks, but their defensive line has been better. They picked it up. You've seen some pressure last week. So I expect them, if anyone's going to step up, it's that BC Lions front again to help them out in the back end.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if you're talking about secondary help, yes, defense needs to step up. And you talk about Janarian Grant, they can also get a running game because we know James Butler's going to show up.
Yeah.
So they have to establish some type of running game.
You know what I like, the two of you were discussing earlier, too, the cross country. And you did it a lot in your careers, too. And look, we watched a team like Edmonton come over to the East a couple of times and have back-to-back really tough losses. But that's no joke either. Going to the West Coast, I mean, it's 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I mean, that messes with the team's rhythm as well.
You got to get acclimated to the time. You got to do travel. The rest is so important. It's absolutely difficult. A lot of the coaches even try to change their practice schedules and everything to move everything up, but it is just tough. It's just tough.
I can tell you most of my careers in Montreal, no matter what our team looked like, we could be the best team in the league playing against when BC wasn't very good. They'll beat us every time. It didn't matter. When you're making that trip, it's really hard. You can almost throw the records out the window when you're making that trip. So add that to the fact of how this BC offense is playing right now. And on this fast track indoors, I mean, BC's putting up 40+. If there's any odds out there for points, BC's putting up 40.
Go over on this game.
BC's putting up 40. Team total, BC's putting up 40. I promise you that.
By the way, I like how you two of you complained about the cross country. And Milt's like, I never had a bad game.
I don't even
know what that means. You
I played for the same team. I never got traded or cut, so I play for the same team every year.
I always got to.
You always got to do it, don't you? You know what? We talked about this. Obviously, this.
Guess what else he never did?
Offense.
What is that, David?
Don't go there. It's not too bad. Defense. Great against Malachi.
Signing?
He only gave up 23. Stop. Look okay.
Yep.
So fingers crossed, because we love having these starting QBs back. Meanwhile, the second game ready to kick off. Mario Fieldhoff is your chance to win big thanks to Save on Food's $1 Million touchdown to win. If a kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, Mario. Let's get you to BC and join Rod Smith and Glenn Suter.
Bernez, welcome to beautiful BC Place in Vancouver. The last time the Argonauts were here, they were celebrating a championship 10 months ago. A lot has changed since then for Toronto. Right now they're on the outside looking in, and one of the teams they're chasing, it is the BC Lions, who, with a victory, could all but wrap up at least a crossover spot. So there's that much at stake. As for Nathan Rourke, what a story he's been, let's face it, on and off the field. Certainly the off-field comments about the rule changes coming up, but earlier than that, on the field in Calgary, maybe his game of the year.
Yeah, let's start there on the field, because it was his best game of the year, arguably, where he threw for, how about this stat line, over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 3 rushing touchdowns for Nathan Rourke. Nick Arbuckle missed last week in the loss versus Montreal for the Argos with the calf injury. Prior to that game, though, he had the Argos on a roll in a 3-game win streak. One of those wins were against the BC Lions, where he threw for over 400 yards in that game.
Well, Ryan Dinwiddie's Argos had been bouncing back into the playoff picture until losing a close one to the Alouettes last week. He acknowledges they're going to have to win at least 3 of the remaining 4, if not run the table, to have a chance of getting in. Buck Pierce's Lions coming off their most impressive win, dominating the Stampeders in Calgary to get back to 500, tied with Winnipeg for 3rd in the West, coming into this at 7-7. The Lions won the toss, and they are taking the ball in this matchup. They met a month ago at BMO Field, and boy, the Lions got off on a tear. Touchdowns in their first 2 possessions, but back came Arbuckle with his best game of his CFL career, and it was the Argos defeating BC that day, Glenn, 52-34.
I was going to say 86 points scored in that game, and a game that the Lions really had control of early on.
They did march down a couple of 4-play drives. And earlier today, with Montreal defeating the Calgary Stampeders, of interest to both of these teams, of course, with Toronto chasing Montreal still in the East, but that's a blow to their chances of getting into the top two, obviously, coming in at 5 wins. And for BC, should they be able to win today against the Argos, then we're talking about a matchup, a showdown here at this stadium next week. Calgary and the BC Lions for second place in the West Division. Getting late in the CFL season. Intriguing. A lot of teams just 4 games to go and still lots to be decided. Liram Hajrullahu, kicker for the Argos, to get this one underway. Part 2 of our Friday night doubleheader.
Apparently we have a bit of a delay here because of the in-house time clock that they are trying to reboot. This is the time when my son says, "Dad, did you try to turn the computer off and turn it back on?"
Yes, the players, I mean, still standing around and waiting. There's Nathan Rourke waiting for his chance. BC will be getting the football to open up this game. And yeah, what a game you talked about, Suits. 20 of 24, over 330 yards passing, couple of touchdowns as well. And he ran for some, and that dominant victory over the Stampeders by BC.
Well, with the loss to Calgary, too, I mean, the Lions have a golden opportunity here to climb up the ladder and possibly get into that at least second spot in the West Division and a home field playoff game.
Yeah, tomorrow you got Winnipeg hosting Hamilton. You get Saskatchewan taking on the Elks in Edmonton. And 2 more key matchups. Yeah, they're still trying to get the clock situation sorted out here at BC Place. And we are finally ready to go with Hajrullahu. Stepping up to the ball. Friday night football, BC Place. The Argos back here for the first time since their Grey Cup win last November. And on that return, it's Seven McGee, who gets it up across the 40, a 23-yard return. So here comes Nathan Rourke, 3rd in the CFL in passing yardage, but he is in first place in a number of interesting passing categories.
Well, and on pace for over 5,000 yards passing. That would be in 16 starts, because missed 2 starts during the regular season where Jeremiah Masoli took over. But 9 times this year, Nathan Rourke has thrown for over 300 yards.
And he leads in average yard per pass, over 10 yards for every pass for Nathan Rourke. Here we go from the 43, first down and 10, and a quick throw to start things off for the Lions. Quentin McManus wrestling down the target there, who's Stanley Berryhill, who gets it up to the BC 49.
Terrell Broxton is back in the lineup on the offensive line for the BC Lions. That's that blind side for Nathan Rourke that he'll be protecting at left tackle. And we happen to have tonight the leading pass catcher in Canadian football coming into the week, Keon Hatcher. Over 1,300 so far and counting.
13-17 on 79 catches. What a year for Keon Hatcher. Yeah, they got the leading rusher, the leading receiver for Nathan Rourke, and a second down and short coming up here. There's the leading rusher, James Butler. The Argos have that stuffed up nicely. They'll lose a yard or 2 and set up a 3rd down, and the punting unit to come on now for BC.
Quentin McManus, the leader in that Argo defense, really set the tone on first down when he tackled aggressively Berryhill on that quick slant route and set the tone for him. They get the stop on the run.
Janarian Grant is back to get this one. 1 of 2 returners for the Argos in this one. David Ungerer is the other one. So 2 back for Carl Meyer to punt it away after this opening possession by BC, and it heads Ungerer's way, and he just lets it go out of bounds. And did this go out of bounds inside the 15? That's right around where they were standing. It's a penalty if it goes out of bounds outside the 15, and a flag does come out. So a penalty against BC, and a better place to start for the Argonauts after that 44-yard punt.
Trying to talk to Ryan Dinwiddie here. Means it's against the Lions. He has the option.
Legal punt out of bounds. Toronto. It's a 10-yard penalty. BC. 10-yard penalty. It's first down, Toronto.
And so they will put the ball down at the 27 of the Argonauts for Nick Arbuckle. And what a game, as mentioned, he had a month ago against BC. They're well over 400 yards. He's over 4,000 in a season for the first time in his career.
Yeah, 8 times. He's thrown for over 300 yards. In fact, is in the discussion for MOP at this point in the season.
He certainly remembers his last trip here. He was Grey Cup MVP. He's throwing it first down to the right. And that's caught by Jake Herslow, who's become a favored target for the Argos. Herslow, who's picked up 9 touchdowns in the last 6 games.
Get things started. The running game for the Argos this year has been a bit of an afterthought, partly due to injury with the tailback position and rotation there. But when Arbuckle's throwing for over 4,000, and we might just start calling it Herslow's office. It's the end zone, because he's just camped out there.
Well, I heard that one of our studio panelists talking about we could have a new touchdown Jake. Remember Jake Winicky of the Alouettes,
yes,
is known
yes.
for, but this is a touchdown Jake machine right now. And gets the first down up at the 41. Motion left, throwing right, caught by Kevin Mittal, who had a touchdown on this field the last time he was here in their Grey Cup victory. How about a look at that Argos offense?
Well, Matthew Betts on defense having a big last couple of games. So Brandon Kemp and Ryan Hunter have got their hands full there. We'll talk about that matchup depending on where Betts lines up, although he has lined up inside as well. There's Herslow, the touchdown man in the receiving corps. As you mentioned, touchdowns in the last 6 games. He finds the end zone. He's got a nose for it.
He did a couple of times in what turned out to be a blowout win for the Argos over the BC Lions in that second half. Arbuckle to Herslow. Second and short. Handing off Spencer Brown, who also had his breakout game in that victory over BC. Was new to the Argo lineup and had a big day.
Well, coming into this game, Matthew Betts had the lead in sacks with 10 and has been on fire of late, 2 against Calgary last week. Micah Awe just 3 defensive tackles away from 100 on the season. And Jackson Finley gets his first start at safety for Christophe Beaulieu, and TJ Lee, the captain of this group on defense, is back in the lineup. Second game for him. Signed as a free agent 3 weeks ago.
Thought he was done at the start of the year, but he stayed in shape, and lo and behold, back with the Lions, right by Gary Peters again. The toss to the right. Spencer Brown, and they have that strung out nicely. Josh Woods and TJ Lee in on that tackle for a loss.
Think back to the 3 games prior to Arbuckle being injured, and you go back and you look at those. All 3 were wins. It started with the BC game, as you mentioned, that 52-34 game. Hamilton, they beat, putting 35 on the board, and then 31 against Edmonton. So the offense was clicking well with Arbuckle. He had thrown for over 300 yards. In fact, over 350 yards in all of those games. Yeah. And this Argo offense was on a roll, and then he got hurt in that Edmonton game.
A couple of weeks ago, and they're surprised to see him able to come back and play now just 2 weeks later. Second and long, and a shot nearly intercepted. Flag comes out as well. Mackay Polk was in the vicinity, and then coming in was Robert Carter looking for the pick. So we'll see what the flag is.
And Mackay Polk is indicating that it's against BC because he was held.
Pass interference. BC. It's automatic first down.
Announced by the referee for today, Tim Croker. So penalty against Buck Pierce's Lions, sees the Argos across midfield and down to the BC 48.
There's Mackay Polk. He's going to run a double move here. Double move on the out and then back up and is grabbed right there.
Movement at the line, Matthew Betts. As they blow the whistle with the snap of the football, Betts looked like the one to jump for BC.
6 quarterback sacks for Matthew Betts in the last 2 games. He goes from middle of the pack in the sack race.
Offside. BC number 98. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
To first place coming into the week. Adiemi Berglund had a couple.
Right.
So he's taken the lead.
Imagine how many more sacks he'd have if that was legal to get the jump. Hey, Matthew Betts is that kind of quick burst. He doesn't need the head start. And we've seen some sacks coming actually from the interior of the line as they move him around. Used to seeing him on the edge. So here we go. It's a 1st and 5. Arbuckle, play action fake, and throws that one into the turf.
Well, let's show you what they've done with Matthew Betts. Move him around, as you mentioned, Rod. Put him inside in that A gap. The A gap strong is between the center and the guard to the field, and then weak is between the center and guard backside. He's in the A gap strong, and he comes straight through there like he's coming out of a track start and running by that offensive line. Look at how far ahead of the rest of the D line he was on that sack in the A gap. So starting to move Matthew Betts around a little bit in the interior of that defensive line.
Here we go on a 2nd and 5 now. Arbuckle airing it out deep right, and again close to being picked off. It's Deontay Williams coming across, the closest one to it. So we have a 3rd and 5 coming up, and they're scrimmaging at the BC 43. We will see Lirim Hajrullahu come on and see if he can add the first points of this game.
Well, looks like Deontay Williams is blaming the lights. He looks like he's blaming the lights. He's the high cover guy here, and is trying to track it kind of like an outfielder trying to run down a fly ball, and well, he had a real shot at it.
John Haggerty puts it down at the 50 for Hajrullahu. Bobbled a bit, but the kick is good. It is perfect. Hajrullahu went 4 for 4 in the Grey Cup here at BC Place last November. Argos, first possession and an early lead, 3-0. We're all very sad to learn yesterday of the passing of Edmonton Elks owner Larry Thompson. And he is being honored across the CFL here at BC Place. A moment of silence in his memory, and our condolences to Larry's wife Deb and the entire Thompson family. And you can be sure that the Elks' next game tomorrow against Saskatchewan will be quite a tribute as well to Larry Thompson, who bought the Elks just a little over a year ago. Nathan Rourke, BC Lions down 3. As they were in Toronto a month ago, then reeled off a couple of touchdown drives. See what they do here in response. Rourke with time, flushed out though. Anthony Lanier's chasing him. Whit McManus comes in as Rourke slides, and he picks up about 5 yards on that first down play.
Andrew Chatfield up front for the Argos has 7 quarterback sacks, so he's not out of the race just yet. He had the early lead, and then that has slipped of late. And Brandon Dozier in the linebacking core has 14 defensive tackles in the last 2 games, so starting to really contribute, make those big plays. And speaking of big plays, McFadden with 5 interceptions, 1 out of the lead. Tavon Campbell holds that right now, and Tavon Campbell isn't going to play tomorrow night for Saskatchewan. He's still on the injured list.
Here we go in a 2nd and 6 after that 4-yard pickup. Quickly to the left, and a first down BC. That one caught by Kieran Poisson, who's getting a little busier too with the injuries that they've had, namely Javon Katoy as well for the Lions.
Take a look out at that little inside change motion. He slides into the inside and then just runs the quick out right at the marker.
Rourke throwing again. Up high, and it is caught. And another first down. It's Aiden Eberhardt getting in on the act in his 3rd year out of Wyoming.
Yeah, you start to get the sense that Aiden Eberhardt is sort of a possession type receiver, but he's tied with Keon Hatcher in the big plays.
Inside the 45, rolling out to the right, throwing it deep, end zone, but it's intercepted by Willie Drew. The ball came in a little shy of Justin McInnes, who was open in the end zone. Drew just in front of him, able to bring it down, and the first turnover of the game turned over by Rourke. And the Lions, Argos have the lead, and they have the ball deep in their own zone here at BC Place. This week, the CFL is recognizing the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, which is coming this Tuesday. Orange Shirt Day, led by Indigenous communities to raise awareness about the impacts of residential schools on children. This day reminds us that every child matters, and the teams, both of them, practiced in orange jerseys before this game today. Argos have the football after the interception by Willie Drew. They're set up deep, but they kept the Lions off the board. They have a 3-0 lead. 1st and 10 now. Backed up to their goal line. And Nick Arbuckle. And looking to the left and throwing it deep, and it's intercepted. Jackson Finley, the rookie out of Western. And that's how they answer defensively with a pick of their own. On 2 consecutive plays, it's Lions ball again.
Christophe Beaulieu was injured in that game in Calgary last week, and that gave a chance to open the door for Jackson Finley, who had a tremendous training camp. He's been playing hard on the teams, and he comes up with his first interception. Well played, deep ball. He gets it at the high point. 10 special teams tackles coming in. He was doing his thing on the teams. Gets a chance to start, and in his first start gets a pick. That ball's going in the trophy case.
Oh, you bet. For Jackson Finley. There's a family history with the Canadian Football League, to be sure. And BC will start up again in the Argos zone, close to where they were before the interception. And on the carry, it is James Butler getting it down to about the 36 of Toronto.
Butler missed last week against Calgary. The run game was definitely still prominent in that game. In fact, Xander Horvath had 152 yards, but they definitely want Butler back in the lineup. He's got 31 catches too, but nice start getting his first start last week for 152 yards rushing.
In his first year out of Purdue, he had a 70-yard carry, had a touchdown in that game against the Stamps. Off to the left. Rourke completes another one inside the 25. That's Keon Hatcher, the leading receiver in the Canadian Football League, and another BC first down.
Yeah, when you put him in the isolation position like that, boy, there's a lot of things that Keon Hatcher can beat you with. This is just the easy, quick out, but there was a lot of routes he could have ran with that much cushion from Willie Drew.
Ball is down to the Toronto 23. Lions trailing by 3, threatening now with Nathan Rourke and a 1st and 10. Butler in motion, back in the backfield. Faking to him, and off to Stanley Berryhill to the right. Tavares McFadden wraps him up, takes him down after a pickup of about 5 yards for BC.
How about Stanley Berryhill trying to match the athleticism of the Robert Carter, his teammate's interception last week versus Calgary? Berryhill on the deep post, and whoa!
Wow.
Come on. How about that, baby? Talked to Nathan Rourke this week about a lot of things. We'll get to that as the game goes on, but I just mentioned Berryhill. He goes, "Ooh, how about that catch?"
Yeah. You know, he had 2 catches, but he won't forget that one, to be sure. The one-hander. End zone look. No. Coming in coverage. Again is Willie Drew at the pick earlier. That one on Hatcher, and he was right there. We got a 3rd and 4 coming up.
Nothing fancy about the route. It's just Keon Hatcher with the fade. And for Drew now, it's about reading the hands. As soon as he reaches for the ball, that's when you swipe at it. The timing is there. Sean White is already on the field. Not a lot of discussion as far as a challenge for screening or anything like that. Pretty good coverage from Willie Drew.
They seem to be going after him, right? McInnes, before he got the pick, he's in his 4th CFL game. The field corner for the Argos. So here's the veteran Sean White.
Oh, look at this.
They've changed things up. No field goal try. It is a 3rd and 4. Trying to draw him off. They got an offside penalty. They'd have an automatic first down. Carl Meyer, the punter and holder in this case, the one that's standing under center.
BC number 17.
Interesting.
5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
Interesting way to try and do that, to draw the opponent offside. Usually you see it out of the field goal formation. There was a different design here where they tried to make it look like they were going to run a fake on the play, get that quick count, but the Argos held tight.
Well, they had the luxury of field position to sacrifice the 5 yards. It's still a relative chip shot for Sean White. This ball will be put down by Meyer just inside the 30-yard line. White, who was 1 for 1 last week. He's only missed 2 all year long. And he's not missing that one. Puts it through. And BC ultimately does answer with a field goal of their own. Nick Arbuckle led the Argos down last time to put up the first points of this game, back where he became a Grey Cup MVP. Well, Nick Arbuckle will never forget his last trip here to BC play. He's thrown into the starting role in the Grey Cup because of an injury to Chad Kelly, and he helped lead the Argos to victory. Was a game's MVP.
Game's MVP, and, you know, I think that Nick Arbuckle, up until that point, and even beyond that point, almost midway through this season, was considered a backup filling in for someone else. And I don't think we can say that. I think Nick Arbuckle is a starting quarterback that you can win with. He's over 4,000 yards coming into this game. You can win games with Nick Arbuckle. You can win a championship with him.
And Arbuckle on now and handing off. That's Spencer Brown, the ball carrier, and well, maybe a yard. That'll be second long coming up. Lions defense strong. But yeah, you know, we were talking to him, Suits, earlier about the meaning of coming back. He's not that sentimental a guy. He admitted, he goes, someday it's going to mean a whole lot more. But I was asking what he's thinking about coming back to Vancouver. He was talking about restaurants he wants to try. I guess I was looking for more of a response about how meaningful it'll be. And as I say, don't get me wrong, he cares, but he's not one to be looking back in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, no, and has a job to do.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a business trip.
Exactly. It's about now. The team that desperately needs a win. They come in at 5-9. Arbuckle, 2nd and 9. And then checks it down to Kevin Mittal, who does the rest afterwards. Across midfield, still on his feet, Mittal, and a great run after the catch to get it down to the Lions 35 before he's tackled by Josh Woods.
This is what I mean about a starting quarterback. He's going to look here, he's going to look here, and he's going to go through all the progressions. Backside to the front side of the field, negotiate the pocket, get it to Mittal.
At the 36 of BC, back come the Argos in a tie. That is caught. Dejan Brissett with his first catch in this game and gets another first down for Toronto. Last week he had 4 for 37 against the Alouettes.
Yeah, so the last play, it was about the progressions and negotiation of the pocket for Arbuckle. This time it's recognition of the coverage. Finding that soft spot, getting it out of his hands quickly, and keep the drive going.
Down to the 25, Arbuckle with time. And does get rid of it to Brown. The pass to Spencer Brown, who gets it down to about the 22. Short pickup. 2nd down and long, and a flag is out as well.
Really late flag here. Play was basically over when that flag came out. Both these teams need to clean that up in their game. The BC Lions last in the league in the amount of yards they take in penalties per game.
15-yard misconduct foul against BC number 90. Unnecessary hit. It's automatic first down.
So that penalty gets them down inside the 10. Have another look. Well, Matthew Betts flagged for that, 15 yards, but that's a 1st and goal coming up now via penalty for the Argos.
There's a little bit of a pile around the legs of Arbuckle, but didn't see much there.
Chance to get into the end zone. Toronto, the fake to Brown, rolling to the right, caught by Mittal inside the 5, down as close as the 2. 2nd and goal coming up now for Toronto.
Yeah, I asked Ryan Didwinny about Kevin Mittal, and are we just scratching the surface in what he can be as a lead receiver? Here's the penalty. Let's take a look again. Betts kind of falls and just taps the knee of Arbuckle. His offensive lineman rolls into him. I don't know. That was pretty soft one.
Yeah, the push and Ryan Hunter did come down around the knee of Nick Arbuckle, but that's why they got this close, that much closer on the Mittal catch. 2nd and goal now. And whistled down. This with the ball coming out. And a procedure call coming up here against Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams, the reason that you get into tempo.
Toronto number 51. It's 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
And in this game alone, we've seen Nathan Rourke in tempo, calling the plays on the line of scrimmage. So is Nick Arbuckle. And you're trying to limit the substitutions defensively. try and tire that defensive line out. But it can also backfire if you're not coordinated in the snap count.
So pushes them 5 yards back. This is a 2nd and goal. Back just outside the 8. Victory for the Lions D would be just to hold them to a field goal. 3 line up front. 3-man rush. Arbuckle has time, but runs out of it, and the ball comes out. Looks like Spencer Brown got on it, but nearly complete disaster for the Argo offense, who are at least going to have a chance to kick a field goal here. And even with a 3-man rush, they still managed to get to him.
Yeah, Brown saves the day for the Argos here to at least get 3. I'm just trying to see who knocked it down. Look, it may have been Tavai from the inside.
So Hiralahu is out. He's 1 for 1. This one inside the 20. Last one was from the 50. Bottom line, 2nd field goal for the Argos, and they have a 3-point lead again through 1 quarter of play on a Friday night in Vancouver. We are through 1 quarter at BC Place in Vancouver. The Argos lead the Lions 6-3. Not exactly an offensive explosion here, Suits, like the last time they played a month ago.
Exactly. 80 points scored last time, and this time it looks like the defenses have stepped up, at least in that first quarter. It's not going to be the type of game for Nathan Rourke where he's pitch and catch like he did against the Calgary Stampeders defense a week ago. So different game plan, different personnel. He's tried to test the corner and Willie Drew, and Drew has stepped up and made plays.
Yeah, he did, including the interception. 1 turnover each team, and back-to-back plays, actually, interceptions. It cost the Lions and a shot at the end zone, but then they benefited on the pick by Jackson Finley to get a field goal, and their only points right now. Quarter number 2 begins, and it's the Lions trailing by 3 again. Nathan Rourke and BC's offense back on the field starting from their 40 after the Hiralahu field goal to end quarter number 1. And here's Rourke, and it is caught. It's Stanley Berryhill again. Another catch for him across the 50. Quickly, 1st down for BC.
This is a read for Nathan Rourke on what Benji Franklin does, and you're going to see the options that he has. He's got, on the out route, he's got Keon Hatcher and Berryhill on the curl. You saw Hatcher cross the front of the screen, and then behind that was the curl. If Franklin goes out with Hatcher, he throws to Berryhill, which he did. If he stays with Berryhill, he throws it on the out to Hatcher.
Ball is up to the BC 53. Rourke over the middle, intercepted, thrown another pick, and it is Franklin who picks it up. Benji Franklin, who intercepted Nathan Rourke and took it back for a touchdown a month ago at BMO Field, has another pick off the Lions QB.
Take a look at what maybe Nathan Rourke was looking at here. Just basically overthrew the intended target. It was Hatcher running that deeper out, but I think the target there was the slant run out underneath it, which he just overthrew. When you overthrow at this level, it's going back the other way.
So he had the pick a month ago, and Franklin has fond memories his last time here. Remember, he had a great playoff with interceptions, had one in the Grey Cup game.
That playoff run was money for a DB.
So they start at midfield. Arbuckle, the Argos, wide open is Herslow, and does a little dance to cut back inside and get it inside the BC 40. Now this is what I was talking about 1 month ago at BMO Field. So
yeah, took it back to the house, and we mentioned the 3-phase win that it was for the Argos in that one. 52 points put on the board, but 6 of them from their defense.
It was an interesting game in the first half. The Lions had the quick 14-3 lead. The Argos, the offense was responding, but what really turned the tide on that Lions possession was that pick 6.
Yep.
Spencer Brown again, and on the first down play, working it down closer to the 35 of BC. 2nd down and long coming up Toronto. But that game was explosive from the get-go. I mean, it was 2 4-play drives for touchdowns by BC. The Argos offense was moving, and then the second half with Arbuckle, they just took off.
seen any real ill effects from the calf injury from Arbuckle either. He's negotiated the pocket nicely, moved around there. We haven't seen him really take off and run just yet.
Got movement along the line of scrimmage. Could be procedure coming up here. Early movement for the Argos.
Procedure. Toronto number 51. It's 5-yard penalty remains. Second down.
They get the rookie right guard, John Boss, out of the University of Calgary. That puts it back to the BC 41. Well, like other teams, the Argos have certainly had to make significant adjustments on their offensive line. But Boss has become a staple, had been out at tackle, inside at guard with Ryan Hunter coming back. Arbuckle under pressure, they've got him. Nick Arbuckle is sacked. And guess who?
Back in his familiar spot, right on the edge, coming around the corner. Brandon Kemp was a little late getting into that pass pro, almost like he was expecting something from the inside. He didn't get out there in time, and you mentioned that first step for Matthew Betts. Back in that 23 season with 18 sacks that year. He's now in a tie for the lead.
At 11 sacks with Isaac Adeyemi-Berglund, who had 2 sacks earlier today in Montreal's win over Calgary. So on a real tear in the second half of the season, especially for Matthew Betts. Argos have to punt down at the 10. Punt of 39 yards. And the return for Seven McGee. 6-3 Toronto. Friday night in Vancouver. As mentioned at the top, Nathan Rourke made big headlines for his criticism of the new CFL rule changes. With more, let's say hello to Chantel Chan.
Yeah, I had a chance to speak with Nathan, and I told him I thought he kept it pretty G. He laughed a little bit and said, listen, as a Canadian and as a Canadian quarterback, I had an obligation to speak up for not only players in the league, but also those who didn't have a voice. And he said that he has a big enough platform, so he really hoped that it would make some noise. And he said that, listen, I've played down south, and I've played in this league, and there's a lot of great things about the Canadian Football League. It's extremely fun, and there's some things in the American League that, you know, could be a little bit better. So Nathan Rourke just speaking up for everybody that loves the CFL, guys.
Thank you, Chantel. And on that first down play, James Butler breaks through across midfield on a huge run for the Lions down to the Argos 46.
Well, there's rule changes that the new commissioner, Stuart Johnston, has said will be put in place in 26, phased in, and then in 27 as well. We'll get into more of that, but a nice run off the left side for James Butler, get them out of their shadow of their own goalpost for the Lions. And yeah, I think social media was buzzing a little bit with the comments from.
I mean, strong opinions on both sides. No question the passion Nathan Rourke has for the CFL and Canadian football. Throwing there to that pickup by Butler, which, by the way, that was a gain of 40. And James Butler's over 1,000 yards rushing this season. But
well, yeah, and, you know, a lot of his concerns, I think, were echoed by a lot of fans. Certainly some of Nathan's concerns I share with him. However, the rules, and we can get into them as the game goes on a little bit, the rule changes for the next couple of years, I don't think will change what makes us uniquely Canadian.
Right. 3 downs, multiple motion.
Exactly.
Wider field. That is caught. That's Justin McInnes with the catch. In the top 3 in the CFL and receiving as well. He's been coming on, and BC with another first down close to the Argo 15.
Got a nice drive going here. Started with a big run from James Butler. Get things going for this offense, and off of that, they're going at tempo.
There they go, working quickly, faking the handoff. Throwing, caught! Touchdown! McInnes! And back-to-back catches in that one. Picks up the first major score of this game, and BC has the lead.
Precision accuracy from number 12 here, because there's pretty good coverage on Justin McInnes here. And it's that RPO type of look where he's going to open up, fake the handoff, pull it, has a choice of a flat route out to his right or that inside curl to Justin McInnis, and he needed to throw it to the inside shoulder of McInnis in order to avoid a knockdown or an interception. Did exactly that for the touchdown.
4 plays, 87 yards in under 2 minutes. And the Lions catch fire on offense, and they pick up the touchdown. The point after try here for Sean White is through, and it's now a 10-6 BC lead on the 6th touchdown of the season for Justin McInnis, who came into this game flirting with 1,000 yards receiving. Into the end zone he goes. But BC plays. With the World Cup coming to BC Place next summer, the Lions made a big announcement today of 2 home games, one in Kelowna and another one in Langford. With more, let's go back to Chantel with Lions president Dwayne Bonneau.
Dwayne, big announcement today. Tell us why those 2 locations were picked, Kelowna and Langford.
Well, first of all, we like to pride ourselves in BC's team. We call ourselves the BC team, BC Lions, and Kelowna is just such a great place to go. It's a great interior city for us that we haven't been to before, and we're excited about it. And then we had great success this year playing a preseason game at Langford.
Now, obviously, some people haven't been to an event like this. What can we expect?
You know, we did this last year in Victoria, where we had Touchdown Pacific, and we took a small stadium that holds 3,000 people and made it into over 15,000 people. So it's a really intimate, small stadium that you have a great experience. You're right on top of the fans, and so we're going to be doing that in Kelowna at the Apple Bowl, and we're going to make a stadium that's going to be 17 to 20,000 people.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
Exciting time for other fans in BC to get to see the Lions.
Well, that and fans here, season ticket holders that enjoy games right here in BC Place can drive to both.
So on the kick return after the Lions touchdown, it's 1st and 10 just outside the 40. Spencer Brown, he goes left, and a pretty good pickup on that 1st down carry up around the 48. And got a 2nd and 3 coming up here for the Argos.
Langford just basically west of Victoria, and of course Kelowna, which is a great spot. And I'm going to just try to, for all of our producers that are putting the schedule together, whomever that may be, I'm volunteering for the Kelowna game.
I hear you.
That'll be fun in the interior.
Well, we've enjoyed seeing some CFL games in smaller sites, like the Touchdown Atlantic as well, and Touchdown Pacific last year, but there's Spencer Brown, the ball carrier. That's enough for a 1st down for Toronto after gain of 4 with the Argos trailing this one 10-6.
You start to, you talked about a couple of times, Rod, the situation that the Argos are in with 5 wins and 9 losses and their playoff hopes in the balance, and really talking to Ryan Dinwiddie saying we almost have to win out to get there. I mean, does it affect and change his play calling as this game goes on, and if they're behind?
1st and 10 off to the left, and Brown can't hang on to that one. Just a bit outside for him. Falls 2nd and 10. Here's the playoff picture as it stands right now. Of course, the Alouettes winning make things that much harder on the Argos, just trying to hang on and get 3rd place. But the crossover, you see BC Lions at 7-7, Winnipeg 7-7 as well, but the Argos 2 games behind. Of course, if they can match them in record, in points, then the Argos would have the advantage that way, but they got to catch them.
Yeah, they got to catch them, and that's why that game tomorrow for Edmonton, for the same sort of reasons, is so important.
They say they pretty well have to run the table now. Here's Arbuckle. 2nd down and 10, checks it down underneath, and going nowhere is Brown. That's Ben Hladek, veteran linebacker at a UBC. Make sure he goes no further, and we got a 3rd down and a punt coming up here for the Argos.
3rd round draft pick back in 2021 for the BC Lions, has played both the Sam linebacker, he's played the weak side linebacker, the middle linebacker. Former Can West first team All-Canadian at UBC.
There's a guy that knows every level of BC football.
Yes.
John Haggerty to punt a low one. This goes end over end and keeps rolling. This works out well. Seven McGee has to backtrack to his 5, and good special teams coverage as he barely gets to the 10 after a 50-yard unconventional punt there for John Haggerty. It pins Rourke and the Lions deep. Friday Night Football, BC plays. Much talked about news earlier this week in the Canadian Football League. Commissioner Stuart Johnston announcing this for next year. Modified rule, Rouge, 35-second play clocks, opposite field team benches, and then changes to the field, 100-yard field, shortening it by 10, shortening the goal lines, putting the goalposts at the back of the end zone. We mentioned Nathan Rourke, highly critical. He actually had a chance to meet with Stuart Johnston. And Rourke is on the field now, just deep in his zone and trying to get out of it quickly. It does! Big play, BC Hatcher has it down to the Argo 40.
Well, this doesn't look like a real precise play because there's two receivers that are very close to each other on these go routes, and that's usually not the design of any offensive play where Berryhill and Hatcher will be that close, but it didn't matter because of the accuracy on the throw from Nathan Rourke. Another big game in the works for Keon Hatcher.
Yeah, 58 yards. The catch and the run, Keon Hatcher. And here come Rourke and the Lions. And one big play in the Argo zone. Another one is caught. So I mentioned that he had a conversation after those harsh words for what Stuart Johnston had announced.
I wish we weren't meeting under these circumstances. I think he's a very nice person, and I think he went about it in a very generous way and was great at listening to all my concerns. I just think we have a lot of disagreements about how this league should be run and what the problem with this league is. I think it's plenty exciting. I think it's really fun.
I had a problem with the communication as well, the way the message was sent and about not being consulted. That was a big problem for Nathan Rourke as well.
Well, and let's also echo that, I as a former player in the league and been involved with it my entire life, I echo some of the concerns. However, I would say that oftentimes we worry about something that's never going to happen. And if you look ahead and the concerns and the consternation when it comes to what is this going to lead to, why don't we just stay in the moment, look at the current adjustments and rule changes that are proposed and are going to happen in 26 and 27 and see how they turn out.
Rourke chooses to run with it, couldn't find a target, gets it down inside the 25. And just in the interest of balance here, Suits, I mean, he was very critical. A number of other Canadian Football League players love the idea. They love these rule changes.
And many fans were critical, and there was that definite, both sides talking about this. But, again, I think when you look at the rules that have been proposed to move the goalpost to the back, and you can go online to see all the different reasons for these rule changes, again, don't affect what makes Canadian football unique. 12 on 12, 3 downs, unlimited motion, yard off the ball, and a great Canadian quarterback throwing from the pocket.
Last play before the 3-minute warning, and Rourke escapes. Running it back, but doesn't escape that. Coming in is Aaron Casey, and the linebacker takes him down for a huge loss, BC. 2:34 on the clock. The Lions still in scoring range with a 4-point lead.
Coming up at halftime, we're going to be talking about Nathan Rourke's performance so far, the Argonauts defense, and are we going on a BC road trip?
I think they said that.
Are we going to Kelowna? Are we going? I'm pretty sure we're going to Kelowna. We're going to Kelowna.
We're coming, Kelowna.
We're coming.
Throw some D's.
Burness, that has road trip written all over it. We know where you're going next year. You're heading to BC. Lions making that announcement. I've just decided now. You're going. We'll figure out the details later. Field will try Sean White. He can put 3 more on the board. He does, even after the big sack by Nathan Rourke. Court is in session. Don't miss it. So the Argos now down a full touchdown, 13-6, with the 10 unanswered points by BC. Sean White, another field goal, and mentioned after Nathan Rourke was sacked and they were pushed much further back. Had to kick a longer one, but reliable kicker who turns 40 years of age in about a month. Puts him 3 more up. 4-man rush. And it's Herslow with another catch just across the 45. For the many stories with the injuries the Argos have had at receiver, Tavares Daniels and Devontae Coxie had been their top receiver. This guy, 87, has certainly stood up.
Yeah, he has, and getting Mackay Polk back certainly helps. And yeah, but look at this production in the last 6 games, and that last one is just, off the charts. Big time to have 9 touchdowns in 6 games, but it also is an indicator of just how well Arbuckle has been playing.
Yeah.
With all the changes in the receiving corps, for him to just keep moving this offense along.
Got a 2nd and 3 now. With time, and underneath, it's caught, and it's a first down. It's Mittal again, the most targeted receiver, by the way, on the Argos this season. Another catch, cross midfield, and a first down, Toronto.
Yeah, he was targeted 9 times in that game against the Lions and caught 8 of them. That target to catch ratio high for Mittal.
In his 2nd year at Laval, passing again, and a flag comes out. It's back to Mittal, who has a good pickup on first down. We'll see what this flag's all about in the Argo backfield, though.
Legal block hands to the face. Toronto number 51. It's 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Right guard John Boss flagged again. Legal hands to the face and back to the 45. First and 20. Argos down 7. Late in the first half. Arbuckle. Mittal tries a stiff arm to get by his defender, and not much there for Mittal. Barely gets it back to the line of scrimmage, but it'll be a 2nd and very long coming up, actually marking it as a lost yard.
Yeah, I think it might have been Josh Woods that closed on that screen, read it really well, limited the gain for Mittal.
Mackay Polk just came back the Labor Day game in Hamilton after being let go by the Atlanta Falcons, and one of the great new receivers of the CFL last year. But not getting much business in this game tonight. There's Herslow again. Well, gets a chunk of it back as he's wrestled down there by Ben Hladek and back to the original line of scrimmage close to midfield, but 3rd down coming up. 1:20 on the clock.
Yeah, when you're in 2nd and 20 offensively, the Lions defensively, Mike Benefides says, I'll just give you the first 15, and as soon as you throw it in there, and you're going to have to because you're not going to throw it deep. We've got 9 guys sitting back here, 15 yards off the ball. Okay, we're going to see if we can hit that one and make a couple of guys miss, and then all the defenders close in a hurry.
Mike Benefides. They gave him a lot of space in the middle after the 3 down linemen, knowing they had a lot of real estate to play with before Toronto could get a first down, and they don't. They get about 10 of it back. Haggerty to punt. Inside the 45, 7 McGee. Back for this one, settling right around the 5 for BC. Finds a bit of room on that near side, and out of bounds he goes. 49 seconds to go. Rourke back on. 11 of 14, 175, 1 touchdown. Has, however, been intercepted twice.
Well, and has time here, to get field goal range at least. And he's had a couple of those big plays. I mean, one was out of the running game from James Butler, and the other, that long throw to Keon Hatcher. If you're if you're Buck Pierce, you know, you just need one of those chunk plays, lots of time for field goal range. And I'm sure Ryan Dinwiddie and the defensive staff for the Argos are going to talk at halftime and say, guys, the big plays, we got to eliminate those.
Back to Butler. That big run you talked about, the 40-yarder. He's over 1,000 again in his career. Did it once with Hamilton, and when he started with BC back in 2022. Leading rusher in the Canadian Football League and adding to his totals and having a great year coming back after that time with the Ticats. Four carries, 52 yards on this night for James Butler. Earlier, the Alouettes, Davis Alexander back and 9-0 to start his career as they beat Calgary. More on that at halftime. Tip, intercepted, and tossed back to Tavares McFadden. Derek Sluka had the pick and then alertly tossed it back. McFadden didn't get much more out of it, but the Argos with 13 seconds are in the Lions zone and may have a chance to at least get 3 more points.
Yeah, Derek Sluka's playing right in the middle where he's supposed to be as the free safety and just reading the route combination. There was an under, so there's always going to be an over. And when McInnes tips that up, he tips it right to the free safety. And then that pitch, because he wasn't touched down by contact, I don't believe. Well, the tackle was made pretty quickly after that.
So it's down at the 46 BC. Even at this point, it would take a 53-yarder for Hairolau, whose longest of the season is 56, but they have time to run a play. 15 seconds here. And they set up a draw just to get a bit closer for Spencer Brown, who does work it down a few more yards. Assuming, given the time on the clock, they just want to get it a little bit closer for Hairolau.
I feel to run a quick out here. They're not going to take the chance, though. I think they're going to put the field goal team out and try the long one.
Hairolau 2 for 2. He has a 50 in this game, and this one would be a little bit more than that. Let's see, or about the same. Haggerty to put it down. The ball at the 43, so it'll be another 50-yard try. This is a little bonus on that interception by Sluka for the Argos to make it a little bit closer at halftime if Hairolau can get this one. Last play, first half as the clock winds down. Lirim Hairolau. Out, down, kicked, and perfect. So 3 points. The Argos will take it. They head to the dressing room, down 4 instead. After that third interception thrown by Nathan Rourke, who's had kind of a mixed bag in this game, made some big plays as well, as the Lions do lead heading to the dressing room.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. The Argos defensively have played a really good first half on the road in Vancouver. They've generated 3 turnovers, 3 interceptions from Nathan Rourke. Played pretty well, but for a couple of big plays, McInnes scored early in that first half.
And here is Justin McInnes with Chantel.
Justin, you scored a touchdown in this first half. What did you see on that play?
Yeah, they were in a zone coverage. I had a crow route. Nate escaped the pocket a little bit, put the ball where only I can get it, and then it's just my job to finish.
Earlier this year, you guys were in a game where Toronto made that comeback. They're kind of going into the second half with some momentum. How important is it for you guys to regroup offensively and just keep your foot on the gas?
Yeah, absolutely. That was a poor half offensively, myself included. We just got to eliminate the mistakes, and we know that no team can stop us. That's going to be our focus going into halftime.
Good luck in the second half.
Awesome. Thank you.
Let's get you back to Kate Burness in the panel for the halftime show.
And what a halftime show it'll be. Back alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stegall. And look, we thought this would be a high-scoring affair.
Yeah.
All of us did. I mean, after watching the Calgary game, especially with BC, and then Nick Arbuckle coming back, we knew that we needed to see absolutely everything from him if the Argonauts had any shot. But the story has to be Nathan Rourke. Yes, there were some really good moments, but overall, the 3 INTs, I mean, this is a completely different start from him than we saw against the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, I think when coming off a 50-burger, 7 straight games or over 30 points, you have a confidence that this offense has. I think for what I saw in the first half with Nathan in this offense, they just looked a little bit, I don't know if it was overconfidence, the wrong word, but I think they were a little excited and just trying to do too much. And you saw it with the interceptions. There was the underthrow on that rollout. I mean, that's a throw that he probably makes, but it's a difficult throw on the run to throw it, that distance. Next one was overthrow, and then this one right here. So, and also what I saw, it was a sack he took. He eluded the rush, he got away, and he was lucky to get away, and then he tried to make another play. That's just doing too much, which, when you're having the success that this offense has, I get why they're doing it, but sometimes you need to simplify things, get the ball out, run the offense, and execute. Not every day you're able to make, the magical plays.
When you've been playing as well as Nathan Rourke has for so long this year, everyone expects you each and every game, each and every half, each and every play to go out there and make it happen. And that's not going to be the case all the time. As you mentioned, there were some struggles in that first half. He also made some good plays. I mean, he has 175 yards passing, and most folks would love to have those yards passing. It's good having James Butler back. We know what he does for this offense, but Nathan Rourke just needs to calm down, take what's given to him. He's made some bad throws, but he has the talent. He knows he has the receiving core. He has the offense to get it done. This Toronto Argonauts defense, they've been playing well, too. We got to give some credit to them. It's not just Nathan Rourke playing bad. It's that Toronto Argonauts defense playing well. So let's hope both of these offenses come out and score some points, because we don't want to just see some defenses playing well. We want some points.
We
want some points scored.
Nothing wrong with some
defensive backs, linebackers, you don't even need those on the field.
You know what? We've given a lot of heat to the BC Lions defense this season, too. And you know what? Let's give them a little credit in this one, too. I mean, they're doing a really nice job here. Nick Arbuckle comes in, and look, we don't want to speculate, but we don't know how great that calf is, obviously, but they need him if they have any shot at the postseason whatsoever. I wouldn't say it was the best half for him at all, too. But again, for the BC Lions, it was their defense that have done a really nice job.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nick Arbuckle came in. Physically speaking, I didn't see any lingering. I didn't see him holding back at all. But 119 yards in the first half is not really going to cut it. Again, they're doing a cross-country trip, and they're in this game. They're still decently in this game. Liam Howard played a really huge role for this team. But you look at the amount of interceptions. There's 3 interceptions. One was at the end of the half. But Nick Arbuckle has to take advantage of that. You can't just let the defense make these plays and not really take advantage, and he's not really doing that right now. They need to come back in the second half and really put some points on the boards as well. They're still in this game. They're lingering. That's all they need to do. Really, you come across the country, you just want to come out with a W. It doesn't matter how it happens. You got to get this W.
No excuses. Across the country. Milt never lost a game. Milt never played poorly.
Oh, gosh. He doesn't know what that's like. He doesn't know what that's like.
You're welcome, Milton. Never. Just these guys.
I didn't lose the Grey Cups. The team did. I did my part.
I can't believe you said that on air, man.
Wow. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Oh, my God.
Coach Dinwiddie on line 3.
Help me out, producer. This evening, the Montreal Alouettes defeating the Calgary Stampeders 38-20. Davis Alexander, what a game in his return. 26 of 36, 350 yards, 1 TD. But the Montreal defense, pretty fantastic as well. Isaac Adiemi-Berglund fired up after this one.
Well, Isaac, your group now, 3 straight wins. You've got your quarterback back. Do you feel like you're in a groove now?
This is the same team that was 0-5, 9th ranked. All over TSN, 3 Down Nation. This is the same team, trials and tribulations. But this is Montreal. This is Montreal. And nobody comes in here and takes it to our house. Sorry.
Hey, the passion's important.
0-5, same team. Same team, don't matter.
Moving ahead, how will this team continue to bring this energy each and every game heading into the playoffs?
We've been here. We've been here. We practice like this. We play like this. We're built different. In Montreal, in the 4-5, we're built different. Fans built different. Stadium built different. We got it here, and we had it all year. We had it last year. and we're building on it, and you continue to see it. You will continue to see it.
Okay, first off, I love the passion.
Yes.
I will take that all day, every day. And you know what? When the Montreal Alouettes won the Grey Cup, that was a 500 team. And then enter Darnell Sankey, turned everything around. And look, we gave the flowers to that team when they... But you're right. Before that point, it was kind of like we didn't know what they were. If you talk to anyone on the defense of the Montreal Alouettes, before they got Davis Alexander back to and what they've been dealing with from the quarterback position, the defense are like, we're doing our job. We just need some offense as well. Well, guess what? Finally got the offense, and look at this team roll. But I would say it is a bit of a different team because now it is I'm looking at you now because it's complete now.
Yes,
right?
it's a different team, Berglund. It's a different team. I know where he's coming from. I like his psyche. I like his enthusiasm, but it's Davis Alexander. And he makes everyone on that team better, not just on the offense, the defense. You see how hyped they are, how much more rest they're getting, how better they are, the special teams. Everyone is playing better. The coaches are coaching better because of Davis Alexander. That's how much a quarterback can impact your team. Like I said, I love his passion. I love everything he's talking about. But lose Davis Alexander again and see what happens. Davis Alexander is making that much of a difference.
I've been saying this for 15 years now. You take the top 3 quarterbacks in the league and take them and put them on the bottom 3 teams, and you will make those teams now up in the top. That's just the way it goes in the CFL. The rosters are very much equal all the way across the board. A quarterback makes a big difference, all due respect to the rest of us in the league who don't play quarterback. But the quarterback makes all the difference. So, again, I love his passion.
I love the passion.
And I think what he's saying is that it's still the same group of guys, and we believe in each other.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he worded a little bit differently, but that's the kind of confidence you get when you got a quarterback like Davis Alexander, and he puts on the performance like that. Right? It was one thing if he came back, he's a little rusty. We still believe in him and everything. He came back and he showed everybody, I am that guy. And yes, now you have the confidence to come out and give interviews just like that because you know that, hey, look, we got a good defense. Nobody ever said anything about their defense. We got a good defense, but we got a guy that can put up points, and he can do that. And so, yeah, Davis Alexander did that.
No, he did. And you know what, too? If you have a quarterback who's never lost as a starter, too. I mean, you know all of this. And, you know, it is the energy. It's everything that Davis Alexander brings. And look, he was doing it while he was injured too, but you saw the way that the team was reacting around him, the fans were reacting around him. This Montreal team is scary down the stretch. There is absolutely no doubt. As we take a look at this playoff picture now, you've got the West Division, the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They are already in at 10-3. Calgary behind them, big loss for them today, and the Bombers sitting at 500. Hamilton, they're taking on the Bombers tomorrow in Montreal, as mentioned, moving to 8-7 on the season. Saturday, once again, a doubleheader, and it all begins with the Hamilton Tiger Cats heading into Winnipeg to take on the Blue Bombers. Winnipeg welcoming back Zach Collaros in the second half. This should be an emotional one at Commonwealth Stadium. And I'm telling you this, if you're in the Edmonton area, go to that stadium tomorrow. They've already sold over 30,000 tickets. Do it for Larry Thompson. Sell it out. Should be a phenomenal game against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Can't wait for that one. But first, we have a game to finish up in BC. The Argonauts down 9-13. We'll get you right back to BC Place for second half action right after this.
You're an all-star, get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star, get the show on, get paid. All that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the
Halftime in Vancouver as you look at Lions Gate Bridge and at BC Place, not too far away. It is the Lions leading at 13-9. Now look at those halftime numbers. Well, edge to BC except for turnovers. 3 interceptions for the Argos, including one by Benji Franklin, who's standing by with Chantel.
Benji, what is it about picking off Nathan Rourke? Because in Toronto at the last game, you picked him off and returned that for a touchdown. You got to pick against him tonight. What are you seeing against him?
Just zone eyes, reading the quarterback, trusting myself, and making plays.
You guys are down in this game right now, but just like that game in Toronto, you guys made a comeback. What was the message from Coach in the locker room at the half?
Just do what we did in the first half. Just go out there and be aggressive, fly around and make plays, and do what we do best.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And it was a later interception that led to the field goal before the end of the half for the Argos to close it to 4. So they get the ball. It's Janarian Grant down outside his 15 to get it started. Second half, he is tripped up, but he gets it just across the 40. So Nick Arbuckle coming back on, and what he did, 12 of 16, 119 yards. He was intercepted once.
Yeah, Jackson Finley in his first start at free safety got that one pick, but he threw for just shy of 120 yards in the first half. Mittal was #1 target for him in the first half of play. Negotiated the pocket well. Had a fumble that his teammate recovered in that first half. But the giveaway takeaway category, the Argos are winning at this point.
3-1. They're winning it right now. They have the ball to start the second half right at the 40 for Arbuckle with Spencer Brown behind him. Looking that way, dishes it off to Jake Herslow. And good work after the catch to get up close to a first down. Herslow had 4 catches for 49 yards in that first half.
Inside motion and sitting down to get this thing started in the second half.
Just needed a couple of inches there on the short yardage as Arbuckle in running that play.
The thing about the Rod, the thing about the first half with Arbuckle and this offense to me was when they started to really start to roll, get a couple of first downs in a row, that momentum was stopped with a penalty. Whether it would be a hands to the face or a holding or whatever it was, an offsides that put them in second and long.
Well, they had that catch and run by Herslow to get him close, and then Arbuckle kept it. It's a first down right at the 50. Faking. It's Herslow with the ball. And a tricky little play there by the Argo offense as they later faked to Spencer Brown, and Arbuckle went back, but a ball carrier this time, and Jake Herslow.
Herslow is down here at the bottom of your screen. He's coming across the formation. I'm not sure Arbuckle ever touched. Yeah, he did touch it. Little tip to him. I thought for a second there that Herslow might have taken that from the snap on the shotgun and taken it around the edge, but nice misdirection on that play.
It's a little touch pass from Arbuckle to Herslow, and another first down. So good start. Back-to-back first downs here for Toronto. They're in the Lions zone down to the BC 48 and a 1st and 10. This time it is Spencer Brown trying to feel his way through, but no. Betts is there. And they have that all stuffed up, Ronald Kent Jr., and it's lost yardage there for the Argos.
The running game has not been a point of emphasis for the Toronto Argonauts this year. They have the fewest attempts running the ball and are way behind the leaders in that regard, which is Winnipeg. Winnipeg's attempted over 300 runs. The Argos aren't at 200.
Quite the contrast to a year ago when they had Kadeem Carey.
Very much so.
Deontay McMahon. They've had rotating running backs in, the latest Spencer Brown. Stepping up, Arbuckle completes that one too. Goes back to Herslow. And close to another first down. See where they spot the football. It is indeed. The sticks move again.
Jake Herslow showing you that he's much more than just a guy that you throw the ball to in the end zone. But what a route there to step hard on that outside cut and then back into the middle. Patrice Rene, the extra DB, bit on that fake.
Opening possession, second half. The Argos down by 4, but moving impressively inside the BC 40. They have it down to the 38 and a 1st and 10 for Nick Arbuckle. Will pass again in a 4-man rush with time to the left, but no. Closest receiver, Mackay Polk, but nowhere near close enough.
Go back to the Argo game against the Lions and Herslow's big game at BMO. 149 yards, couple of touchdowns, kept his streak going in that regard, but he got in behind coverage a couple of times on the Lions. Something that Mike Benavides, I think the defensive coordinator for BC, hopes that can be adjusted with the addition of TJ Lee.
Yeah, big significant one. It certainly showed last week against Calgary.
Not to say that TJ Lee might be matched up on Herslow every play, but just that him bringing a level of calm to that secondary and some big time experience.
Key addition to bring their veteran defensive back into the Lions fold again. Well, that one thrown, and it's Herslow wants a flag, and Gary Peters, and a late flag does come out. Herslow arguing he was interfered with there in that incompletion.
Legal contact on a receiver, BC number 1. 10-yard penalty. Result of play is first down.
Little press coverage, inside route. Peters can't trail that left hand and stop the out cut by Herslow. I'm not sure that he did. Looked like Herslow fell down on his own. I don't know, though, that Buck Pierce would challenge this because of the left hand.
Right.
The ball was thrown to the receiver. That so illegal contact was on. Therefore, it's pass interference.
Yeah, it'll upgrade.
An automatic first down.
It'll upgrade to pass interference because he was the intended target.
And the officials in the stands don't agree. But here we are inside the 30 on the PI call against Peters to the 29, and this Argo drive continuing. So
best friends, by the way, Gary Peters and TJ Lee.
Yeah, nice to see them back. The boundary half of the secondary for BC again with Lee coming back. A low pass there for Mackay Polk, and it falls incomplete. That's Lee in on the coverage there.
And just sitting off that, not worried about Mackay Polk going deep on that play because of the route concept that he saw in front of him. He saw basically all curls with, Arbuckle trying to get to the sticks, get that first down, or at least up, get 8 or 9 on first down. Polk kind of rushed that route, though.
He's still without a catch and just a couple of targets so far for Mackay Polk. Another 4-man rush and settling in and aiming for Brown there, but too far, and that's incomplete. So just like that, it's the end of that drive, and High in the field goal unit coming on to see if they can make it a 1-point game.
Trying to get the check down there, but watch Mackay Polk there too. He's almost looks like showing a little bit of frustration. That first down, it was a one-hopper to him on the curl. And that last play, he ran it big and was not the target.
High 3 for 3. That includes 2 50-yarders, one right at the end of the half. Haggerty will put it down at the 35, right in the middle of the field. To go 4 for 4. And he tucks that in the right upright. Looked for a while like it might be drifting right, but he gets it. Stays perfect on the night. And 4 field goals for the Argos and a 1-point game. Keon Hatcher and the BC Lions getting set to go to work again. He is the CFL's leading receiver. Last year's Suits, he joined the team late, still recovering from an Achilles injury, but just look at the difference from 24 to 25.
Yeah, basically doubled his numbers and completely healthy coming out of training camp and ready to rock and roll, and that's exactly what he's done. I mean, that's a career high, and we're not finished the regular season. Closing in on another 100-yard game. That would be 4 in the last 6 games for Hatcher over 100.
First down, and it's Hatcher there, but Willie Drew's having none of that. He timed it perfectly to come in and take the Lions star receiver for a loss.
Yeah, this secondary is playing well. I mean, 3 interceptions in the first half. The panel talked about how well they're playing, and to give them some credit, there was a couple of overthrows from Nathan Rourke and then one deep ball that was underthrown that led to those interceptions, but they have gone after Willie Drew a little bit, and he stepped up and made plays.
He had the first of the 3 interceptions back in the first quarter. Loss of a yard, 2nd and 11. BC leading now by just a single point. And that pass not near the target. Drew's in the territory then with Tavares McFadden. The closest Lions receiver was Stanley Berryhill.
Yeah, I think Berryhill thought that it was an in route, an in cut, and Nathan Rourke thought it was an out cut. So he thought it was here, and Rourke threw it there. Put the brakes on and come back inside, and Rourke threw it to the out.
And so on comes Carl Meyer and return specialist Janarian Grant, who stands back at the Argo 20.
Did you see the reaction from Berryhill? You almost can tell who the guilty party is between the two.
Just read the body language, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Meyer from South Africa. And aiming it off to the right, coming right down inside the 20 for Grant, who heads off to his right. And just tripped up a bit. And overall good coverage. Relentless by BC. And that coverage unit, it's Xander Horvath. But a great day as a running back last week coming in with the tackle. And just another beautiful night at BC. Weeks ago, Nick Arbuckle suffered a calf injury against Edmonton. He missed the start last week against Montreal and certainly wasn't expected to be playing tonight. Chantel?
Yeah, he was supposed to miss a few weeks, and actually he told the Argos trainers, listen, I want to be back after the BC game at least, and they laughed at him because he was on crutches. And after that, he went from crutches to a boot to walking to running in just about 9 days. And Nick told me that he really figured out that he was feeling a little bit healthier because one of his other passions is coaching. So he was coaching some kids and he was doing some DB drills and he started sprinting them as he was showing them an example. And he was like, oh, wait, hold on. I'm supposed to be injured right now. But then he realized that he actually wasn't injured and told the trainers that he was ready to come back, guys.
And just completing another pass, Chantel, to Spencer Brown. You talk about Nick Arbuckle, the coach. That subject has come up. Last year, he figured that was his destiny, figuring he was done in the CFL. And then, lo and behold, the Argos bring him in, and the rest is history. Ends up starting and playing in the Grey Cup.
Well, the moral of the story is volunteer your time in amateur football as a coach. Good things will happen.
Right now, he's still the quarterback, although under pressure there, he throws that down in a 1st and 10, but yeah.
But in all honesty, it was a miraculous recovery, really. I mean, the medical staff, as Chantel mentioned, we're talking about 3, maybe 4 weeks with the calf. You know, he's got to be able to plant. He's got to be able to negotiate the pocket. Sometimes he'll even take off and run. I mean, he had 44 runs coming into this game this season. So it's an injury that affects the quarterbacks throwing the ball, not just running it on a leg injury. And miraculous recovery, 1 week missed, and he's back.
And as for the coaching future, it's there.
But
for sure. Based on what's happened this year and the way last year ended, might be on hold for a little while longer.
Yeah. Give him a couple more years.
2nd and 10 now. Toronto 27 again. He is getting pressured by that BC front. And this series and snuffed out there as they'll have to punt it away. Josh Woods coming in. Matthew Betts.
Well, Betts has just found another gear. Going back a couple of years ago to that great season he had. A bit of a slow start statistically this year. Doesn't always say the story, though. Sometimes you're getting a lot of pressures, and Matthew Betts and PFF led the league a bunch of weeks in pressures.
Now once again tied for the league lead in sacks with 11. Got one earlier tonight. 7 McGee, flag out. A 46-yard punt by John Haggerty. Nathan Rourke back on. Lions with a 1-point lead, 3rd quarter. The Lions have net offense at 223, but a lot of that offense, Suits, has come on 2 plays, including that one by James Butler.
Yeah, that's why I thought that the Argo secondary would go in and say, just take those 2 plays off the board, and we're really containing maybe the most explosive offense in the league.
40-yard run by Butler, 58-yard catch and run by Keon Hatcher. Big part of what they've done tonight, and that one is dropped. Intended there for Butler, just across midfield. Wanted to turn it up and run, but didn't secure the football. 2nd down.
One of the reasons that the Lions have got this offense going under Buck Pierce and Nathan Rourke at the controls is because of their 1st down efficiency. I mean, you take a look at the rest of the league, and they're all around that 6-yard area in 1st down efficiency. BC way above that at 8.3 coming in. Now I guarantee you, like, the numbers will be skewed tonight because those 2 big plays were on 1st down. But this offense not clicking at that level.
Here we go on a 2nd and 10. That's caught for a 1st down.
There you go.
That's Justin McInnes. Went over 1,000 yards receiving on this season. Again, the CFL's leading receiver a year ago.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a bit of a reboot and then tuned back in from the quarterback position. That's a tight window to fit it into. A lot of defenders around Justin McInnis, but the ball is right where it had to be.
So BC down to the Argo 41 with a 1-point lead. Under 6 minutes to go until three-quarter time. Empty backfield, and Rourke over the middle again. It's caught by McInnis again. 20, 15, down close to the 10, and another Lions first down, knocking at the door now.
This dig route is the second layer, and the second layer is open because of the underneath routes. So you're going to see a couple of receivers flash underneath here, and that pulls the linebackers and Wynton McManus up towards that short crosser. That opens up, and Nathan Rourke knows that McManus is going to cut underneath because he's got a guy right in his face. That distracts him. McInnis gets in behind him.
McInnis has the one touchdown BC has scored in this game. That catch gets them just outside the Argo 10 and a 1st and 10. To the right, it's deflected but caught anyway by Butler, who spins, breaks a tackle by Cameron Judge. And how about that work by James Butler on a pass that was deflected at the line, makes the catch, breaks a tackle, picks up more yards inside the 5.
Take a look at the block because, yeah, it goes right through the hands. I thought it might have been Andrew Chatfield who got his hands on it. Just didn't get enough of it to knock it completely to the ground. And then James Butler, 5 yards, 6 yards on his own.
Moves it down to the 5. So a 2nd down and 4. Can get a first without a touchdown. Let's see here. End zone look. Rourke! No. Willie Drew there and a little push at the end for the intended target, Keon Hatcher. That one sailed past Hatcher, and Drew is getting flagged.
Number 39. Ball be placed at the 1 yard line. An automatic first down.
Well, this is not about, they're locked up here. Hatcher's pushing. Drew pulls the arm. Push, pull, push, pull. I thought it might have been for the late push from behind after the play was over, but said pass interference. It's on the 1 yard line.
Here we go in a 1st and goal.
I will say the way they're calling it this year, that's been a penalty all year.
And a big one too. Rourke keeps it pushing. Touchdown BC. Nathan Rourke with his 8th rushing touchdown this season. And the Lions opening up their lead again.
I'm not saying that a pass interference like that should be called every time. I'm just saying that's the way they've been calling it all season long. And here's the push up front. He goes right behind his center, Michael Couture. Riley Pickett right there with him, helping out. 8th rushing touchdown. Had 3 last week against Calgary. And that's the type of drive give you confidence. Those 2 inside throws to Justin McInnis are confidence builders for this offense.
Worked them right down. 2 of those 7 plays. And that drive for 58 yards in just over 3 minutes time. So now late in this 3rd quarter, the Lions taking charge again. The point after try for Sean White. And we get an 8-point game off the Nathan Rourke rushing touchdown. After that drive, Couture takes care of the rest. BC up 20-12. TJ Lee's rookie year 2014. Here's what he's done since. Didn't look like he'd be back this season. The Lions certainly glad he is, Chantel.
Yeah, TJ Lee had a little bit of a rough time while he was away from football, but one of his mentors really validated him with a few encouraging words, and that was Wally Buono. He told TJ, do not retire just yet. You still have 2 to 3 years left for your career. And TJ said, Wally doesn't sugarcoat anything, so those words were really validating for me. And also another guy that was extremely supportive throughout that entire time was his best friend, Gary Peters, and they're actually roommates right now. TJ said that he turned one of Gary's closets into his bedroom, and it's a blow-up mattress. The feet part is hanging out. He's got a shoebox for a side table, and he says he loves his small quarters. He says, the wife and kids are living great, but while I'm here still living out my dream, I get to hang out with my best friend, Gary Peters, live with him, and of course still play football, guys.
Sounds like if he wants a little bit more space, he's got to come to the facility here. Wow. Down in Surrey.
You know you love the game.
Yeah,
and you want to continue.
Gary's got to get him a bigger room.
Yeah, apparently the mattress, the end of the mattress is sticking out into the hallway because it's that small of a closet for TJ Lee. But he says, you know, I love it. I'm hanging out with my buddy, and him and Gary Peters go back. In fact, Gary Peters, when TJ Lee came back to the locker room, Gary Peters walked into the room with got the attention of the entire team and said, hey, our true captain is back.
Yeah.
And that's nothing but respect.
And this is after the Lions chose not to bring him back this year, but they've needed him, and the help that he's offered. And that's Jake Herslow on the first down play, and breaks the tackle, gets across the 50. But the help that TJ Lee has given, talk to Mike Benavides about it, and the difference he makes as a leader as well. But the communication on the field, as Chantel had mentioned, you know, working with Gary Peters again too.
Well, yeah, you know, he's a two-time All-Star, and we showed you his board on all his stats. So, you know, when he talks, people are listening.
Second and short. Spencer Brown, the ball carrier, gets it right up near the first down marker. Excuse me, Deontay McMahon in as the ball carrier for the Argonauts.
But Robert Carter, he's a rookie. Ronald Kent on the wide side at the field side is in his second year. They're playing with a safety in Jackson Finley, who is in his very first start at this level. So yeah, I mean, to bring in a veteran that can help in that back end, huge.
That was McMahon's first carry of this game. He remains in the backfield with Arbuckle. Gets the ball again. Deontay McMahon. And up across midfield. Gains about 5 more yards for the Argos, trying to get the running game going a bit. And a 2nd and 5 coming up.
You know, and when you look at, this game is far from over with a whole quarter and a bit to go here, but if the BC Lions can improve their defense by 10 to 20%, this team can be a Grey Cup contender.
2nd down and 5. Arbuckle throwing it is caught. It's a first down. It's Mittal again. Another one for the most targeted Argonaut receiver.
Kevin Mittal on 2 plays ago ran a go route. The ball went the other direction, but I watched him come back to the huddle, and he came back with a bit of a limp. Looks like he's fine on this little curl, but keep my eye on Kevin Mittal. Apparently, Ryan Dinwiddie told us he's been fighting some leg injuries throughout the season.
Had a Grey Cup touchdown on this field last November. Here's McMahon running again. 3 carries on this drive. Takes a hit there. Jackson Finley coming in, but another good pickup.
So there's been times when this defense has had some difficulties making the key stops in games. We talked about the 52 points the Argos put on this defense, and it's improving. It's getting better, and has been getting better over the last couple of weeks. There's leading the league in yards allowed through the air, and then you added TJ Lee. I think 20% is realistic.
2nd and 2. And the pressure comes in by the Lions as Arbuckle is sacked again. Big loss outside the BC 40.
Matthew Betts is another reason that this defense is improving. He starts out here. Usually we see him come up here, but this time he's going to make an inside move, and they'll give him the freedom to do that because he's so quick to be able to redirect. He also has a blitzer coming from the outside for containment.
Arbuckle went down with the pressure coming. And now, for the 3rd straight time in this game, Lirim Hairolau will attempt a 50-yard field goal. He's 2 for 2 in that department, 3 for 3 overall. Or, excuse me, 4 for 4. And we're going to call that 5 for 5. 5 field goals for Lirim Hairolau, 3 of them coming from 50 yards out. The Argos get 3 back through 3 quarters. Lions still lead it. They'll head to the final 15, up by 5. Friday Night Football. TSN, BC Place. Through 3 quarters, the Argos have just cut the BC lead 2-5 heading into the final 15 minutes. A look at the numbers, and might be surprised to see how the time of possession, how Toronto's had the ball more than BC has.
Yeah, well, those 2 big plays in the first half were really a lot of the BC offense in that first half. I think that last drive by Nathan Rourke is going to help with their confidence for the Lions. But if you're the road team and you're the Argos right now, you want to keep it within 1 possession, which they have. You get to the 4th quarter, and then you make 2 or 3 key plays, and the home team starts to grip the stick a little tighter. Hockey season coming up.
There you go. You're getting ready.
I thought I'd throw that in there, yeah.
For your Canucks out here? Just across the way?
Not my Canucks.
Not your Canucks?
No.
Who's your squad?
Predators.
Oh, you're a Nashville Predators fan.
Well, my kid was down there for a while.
He did a lot of time.
That.
Yes, that's right. I didn't know you'd adopted the hockey team down. Vancouver guy you are. 4th quarter, Rourke rolling out to the right, trying to find a receiver. Tried a couple of times. He just keeps running. And he gets to about the 44, about a 4-yard pickup.
Nathan Rourke rushing the football is over 400 yards rushing. I mentioned the 3 rushing touchdowns last week against Calgary, but watch his acceleration here. I think the people underestimate his speed. First, he outruns the angle. I know that's a big boy, but he outruns that angle. And then his lower body strength to break these tackles. It's not like he's lowering his shoulders to try and, you know, be the hammer, not the nail in some of those runs. He's just got a very strong lower body. I think that catches some defenders off guard.
He got over 400 yards rushing this season, 424, 16 more tonight, and a touchdown. Deep look, right up for it, no. Incomplete, a flag coming out as well. Benji Franklin down there on the coverage.
Right in front of the BC Lion bench. Rourke put it out there.
Pass interference. Toronto number 23. Spotted foul. Automatic first down.
On Stanley Berryhill, Benji Franklin coming in.
Slow motion is a little bit distorting, but it looked like he got there early and then grabbed the left hand. Again, you know, I'm looking at a lot of these pass interference calls over the last month or 2 months of the season, and I'm not allowing much of the hand fighting go anymore. No challenge from Ryan Dinwiddie.
Like for a moment he was considering it with that challenge flag in his hand, but back in the pocket it goes. So Lions again moving the ball on big plays, whether running or passing or by penalty. This one gets him down outside the Argo 25. Rourke spins, running again, makes something out of it. The running of Nathan Rourke. And it gets down close to the Argo 15.
Another special milestone for Nathan Rourke. The Canadian receiver department, passing Gary DiTilio. Over 10,000 yards passing, of course, is the leading Canadian quarterback in yards passing in a single season.
Yeah. They did that last week in Calgary, and I said tonight went over, first Canadian QB to go over 4,000 in one season. And, you know, and the comparisons to another great number 12, Russ Jackson.
Which he paid tremendous homage to.
Absolutely.
When we talked to him. Absolutely, yeah.
Jackson, a star with the Ottawa Rough Riders back in the 1960s. Here's Rourke. Throwing again. And Cameron Judge closing quickly on James Butler, and another flag comes out.
Roughing the passer.
Going against the Argos again.
Major foul, roughing the passer. Toronto number 91. It'll be first down at the 1-yard line.
Anthony Lanier coming in on Nathan Rourke as he got that one away for Butler.
Take a look at Lanier. He's going right down the middle. And continued on quite a bit late after the fact. Both coaches in our discussions this week talked about the penalties being something they got to clean up.
It's an injured player for the Lions getting some attention. The left tackle Jarrell Broxton will be back at BC Place in a moment. It has been a penalty-aided BC Lions drive to start the 4th quarter. In fact, the latest penalty, a roughing the passer has them down first and goal at the Argo 1, leading by 5, looking to make it a 2-score lead. Nathan Rourke trying for another touchdown, and he gets it. 2 rushing touchdowns for Nathan Rourke, and 9 on the season. And for the first time, we have a 2-score game here with BC in front.
Last time he was down on the 1-yard line and did this, it was behind Couture. This time he goes off the right side. Una, slugger, second effort gets him in.
On a 5-play, 70-yard drive, Suits. Out of those 70 yards, 55 came on penalty. And the point after for Sean White. To make it a 12-point game.
I gave you the stat line off the top with Nathan Rourke from Calgary. Perhaps his best game of the season last week with 3 rushing touchdowns. But when you go back through week 16, and this was the Calgary run, a long one, breaking tackles from almost every defender from the Stampeders there. A couple of 1-yarders here, quarterback sneak department, but 9 rushing touchdowns for Nathan Rourke.
And with that, a 12-point lead, but those touchdown passes he's thrown and what he's done on the ground as well. A little more comfort, although I mentioned this drive, a little bit different. They didn't have the big plays on offense as much as it was the penalties by the Argos. They got them downfield. So over to Nick Arbuckle coming up here.
Yeah, he's got to start maybe activating Mackay Polk here. Start to push the ball a little bit, take some chances. I know there's a double-edged sword because he's getting rushed. I mean, he's getting pressured. And tough to throw those double moves and deep balls when you got a guy in your face. So you got to get that protection working, and maybe Mackay Polk can get in behind coverage. They need some chunk plays.
These are the defending Grey Cup champions. It was already critical coming into BC Place tonight at 5-9.
Yeah.
Knowing that even if they run the table, the best they could do is 500. And bear in mind, Montreal won earlier tonight. And as I said off the top, if BC goes on to win this game, the Lions will all but clinch. Not quite, but all but clinch at least the crossover spot at 8-7.
BC,
they would be, with 3 games to go, each team, they would be 6 points ahead of the Argos.
There's a whole bunch of math there that I'm not going to mess with just yet. But
well, we could work on it over the next 4 weeks.
And you know, the coaches, we talk about that and the urgency, and certainly Ryan Dinwiddie understands it, but Buck Pierce as well. We were talking about it, and they don't want to do the math either, and they don't want their players to do it.
It can make your head hurt a while.
It also can, you start to think, well, okay, we win this one, we're in the playoffs. You don't want them to start taking their foot off the pedal because home field is still possible.
Yeah, and that's back with Deontay McMahon on the return. But to your point, it's not like it'd be something to be satisfied about improving to 8-7 and a likely crossover when they still would have a shot if they could keep it going. Who knows that if they go on to win, and you got the Stampeders losing today in Montreal, they meet here at BC Place in a week in a game that the winner would be in second place in the West. So BC still with lots at stake, looking ahead to their final few games.
Yeah, two home games back-to-back, Calgary and then Edmonton, and then they're in Saskatchewan for that last game of the year. Apparently the ticket sales, by the way, for the Calgary rematch, going really well.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
That could be if it's looming that much bigger right now, given the score here at BC Place. Argos with some work to do. Swinging it out to Spencer Brown, and a flag is out too as he takes a hit up across the 45.
This is what I mean about the Argos just not being able to get, first of all, those big plays down the field, a couple double moves or anything like that. It's been a lot of check downs, but the pressure on Arbuckle.
Holding Toronto number 53. 10-yard penalty remains first down.
And then that issue creeping into it as well. I mean, that was not an exotic blitz by any stretch of the imagination, and 5-on-4, 5-on-5 couldn't hold up and give Arbuckle time to look down the field. He tried the check down. They got positive yards. It comes back because of the penalty.
So in a 1st and 20 now, that holding penalty to Darius Sirocco. And Arbuckle underneath Spencer Brown. And not much there. It's Josh Woods. Mike Awe in there as well.
You know, when you don't have DeMonte Coxie, and by the way, Coxie's still the Argo leading receiver after missing 4 games due to injury. Is still there receiving. I mean, Makai Pope can get in behind cover. He's got that type of top-end speed that can take the top off the defense, and he doesn't have a catch tonight.
Certainly surprising, especially from what we saw him in his rookie year last year. Arbuckle completes that again to Brown, well shy of a 1st down. He gets it up around the 50, but 3rd down coming up. John Haggerty coming on.
Did what he thought about it there. In fact, his punt team hesitated at the sideline when he was contemplating possibly going for it here on 3rd and 5. 10 minutes or over 10 minutes to go. Thought, no, we'll play the field position game one more time.
Should point out, too, the Argos still have only 15 points on the board and under 200 yards passing. And they absolutely torched BC's defense a month ago at BMO Field.
Different defense now.
Yeah, much different. I was going to say, you really noticed the difference in the Lions' D. Last week against the Stampeders as well. They kept Calgary quarterbacks under 200 yards. Good coverage on that. Isaac D'Arcangelo in special teams with the tackle there on 7 McGee. Big plays certainly helping the Lions out tonight on offense, including that man, CFL's leading rusher, James Butler, at a 40-yarder. Well, I called him the rushing leader because he is again. James Butler and Dedrick Mills have something going on. A.J. Ouellette not far behind, but Mills earlier today in Montreal had taken the lead for a while. Butler back on top at 10:41.
Both A.J. Ouellette, Justin Rankin, and Brady Oliveira all play tomorrow.
Yeah. So some big games tomorrow, a doubleheader as well. Hamilton at Winnipeg, and then we'll be in Edmonton for the Riders and the Elks, who are seeing their season hanging by a thread now. So coming in with 5 wins, heartbreaking losses too in Ontario to the Ticats last week and the Argos the week before. There's Butler running again, adding to his lead. Patting those stats up across the 30, and Buck Pierce liking to run the football right now with a 12-point lead 4th quarter.
Well, this was one thing that Buck Pierce told us this week that he wanted to bring over from Winnipeg, because he feels like, especially in times like this in the game, when deep in the 4th quarter, when you have a lead, that running the ball is all about physicality, it's all about attitude, it's all about trying to dominate the line of scrimmage. And he certainly knows what that looks like when you think about his time in Winnipeg with Brady Oliveira and before that Andrew Harris.
1st down up at the Lions 30 now. Clock ticking. Rourke slips a bit, evades the rush though, and a flag comes out. Back in the Lions back, there looks like a hold coming up here for BC.
Holding, BC number 61. 10-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
Well, this comes, the Lions had to make an adjustment on offensive line. Chantel?
Yeah, Jarrell Broxton is questionable to return with a wrist injury, so we might see Nathan Rourke running a little bit more without his left tackle, guys.
Broxton been injured and out before. Of course, they've been missing their right tackles. That's Corey Woodruff, who moves from guard outside, and Andrew Pearson beside him, 54, takes over at left guard and left tackle.
You're right. Still go tight end if you want to put Riley Pickett in the game.
BC 20 after that holding penalty, and back to Butler again on that 1st down carry.
Now, some of the times this year that the Lions have had the lead, and we asked Buck about, you know, the pressure on the defense when they have the lead, and all of a sudden the comeback has started from the other team. The time they played Toronto was an example of that. And he said, you know, offensively we can help. I mean, we can't get too conservative. And while we want to be a good team with balance and running the ball, we can't get too conservative in the play calling. So we'll see what he does as this 4th quarter winds down with the lead.
Kevin Iben, great playing career with the Argos too as a linebacker. Defensive coach now, co-coordinator. That one low. The shoe tops for Butler, who can't get it. So 3rd down coming up, and Carl Meyer coming on. 12-point difference.
Yeah. So, first of all, with Nathan Rourke, real frustrated on that throw. I mean, it was real high percentage little screen throw, and he was upset with himself. The reaction was just shaking his head. But that's the decision from Ryan Dinwiddie. He almost went for it on 3rd and 5, decided not to. There's obviously lots of time left in the fourth quarter. Kicks it, wins the field position, gets his 2 and out that he needs. Well, not 2 and out, but gets his defense, makes a stop.
So Meyer to punt inside the BC 15. Janarian Grant just outside the Toronto 30. Argos got to make something happen on offense. Pretty quiet night for them. 5 Hiralahu field goals, but that pace is not enough right now. 12-point lead BC, but Nathan Rourke not satisfied after that last pass. They have to kick it back to Toronto. Day 2, 7 a.m. Eastern, 4 a.m. Pacific, the Ryder Cup on TSN. Here at BC Place, it's Team Lions versus Team Argos. It's 27-15 BC halfway through the fourth quarter. Lions trying to go over 500 at 8-7. Here's Nick Arbuckle. Oh, it bounces off the intended target, Mackay Polk, who had his greatest chance at a catch in this game, and it just bounced off him.
Wow, I tell you what, I'm not going to give Mackay Polk an alibi there, because that hit him right between the 1 and the 5. But, you know, I've been watching him run routes, and the ball has just not found him tonight. And the one chance he has to make the play, turns his head, looks downfield.
You can see the
first.
head turn, right? Yeah.
Even if you're not the primary target.
It's a grade 2 roughing the passer. BC number 98. It's a 25-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Missed that by Levi Bell. Is it 98 or 20?
Said 98, Levi Bell.
Yeah. There's Levi Bell at the bottom of your screen. And he's going with a little stunt inside around the edge. Oh, that's late and high, head to head.
So Mackay Polk doesn't get the catch, but they have a big play on penalty to get it to the BC 41. Arbuckle, he steps up and just checks it down to Vital. He's working his way towards the 30, and the first down marker gets awfully close to it. For Vital in his second year out of Laval, looks like he's limping again. You talked about this back to the huddle.
Yeah, this is, notice this a few series ago. And coming out of his breaks a little gingerly.
It is a first down. Arbuckle underneath the Vital again. Another first down. Flag is out inside the 15, down near the 10 for Kevin Vital.
Or maybe
busy night continues.
Maybe he's just doing the old-time running back thing where you limp back to the huddle after every play, kind of limp back, and then as soon as you get the ball in your hands,
it's
you're
showtime. Yeah. But we got a penalty, and this is going against the Argos.
Holding. Toronto number 51. 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
Wow, he's had a tough one. John Boss, I want to say that's 2 or 3 penalties for Boss. They're both these teams over 100 yards in penalty yards. Coming in, they weren't very good. I mean, the Argos were 7th in the league, the Lions 9th. But we're under 80 yards a game. Both teams surpassed that in penalties tonight.
So they're back. It'll be a 1st and 20, and they're back to the BC 41, which is where they were after the Lions' latest penalty. Advanced them big time. Arbuckle again underneath and tackled right away. Jake Herslow is taken down by Josh Woods. Another flag is out.
Matthew Betts comes off the edge so quickly here. And this is what I mean. If this type of pressure with just 4 guys is closing the pocket this quickly, I mean, you can count the steamboats. We'll even slow it down for Arbuckle in slow motion, and he's just throwing around rush, and his linemen are all over his legs and his feet. And he's coming out of the sprinter stance, and look at the bull rush. It's around the edge to force Arbuckle up in the pocket, because that's where Matthew Betts' friends are.
15-yard misconduct penalty against BC number 96. It's an automatic first down.
Another one.
wasn't liking that announcement by Tim Croker there, but penalties on this drive. Both teams, but mainly against BC, helping Toronto out. Down approaching the 20. Arbuckle back, swinging it out. Spencer Brown after the catch. 15, 10, 5. Oh, he gets close. Spencer Brown. First and goal coming up as he takes it down to the Lions 1.
Nice acceleration by Spencer Brown when he cut back after he got the ball. Arbuckle's really just looking check down almost every play now to get it out in the flat because of the pressure he's facing, but a nice cut right there to get back to the middle of the field.
Looking for their first touchdown. A low snap. Whistle down with the snap. The flag is down against the Argos. Yet another penalty.
Procedure. Toronto number 51. It's 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Sometimes it's just one of those nights. That second arrow on the outside, I was a little tight on that first arrow, but inside to Betts and early movement.
First and goal still. Further back. End zone look. Touchdown. Mackay Polk finally has a catch. And it's an awfully big one as the Argos find the end zone for the first time tonight.
You're on the road. You keep it to one possession. Keep hanging around, and then make 2 or 3 big plays. You'll need them from all your phases. But a couple of big plays get you right back into it, right back to a one-possession game. Mackay Polk finally activated on the out. He hangs on, touchdown. Not much celebration because they're behind in the score right now, and he finally got on the board. He's saying, okay.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, finally.
That was the 5th time he was targeted. He saw the drop earlier. But that's a big one for Mackay Polk, who just back recently to the Argos after the NFL tryout. The Atlanta Falcons, 6 plays, 66 yards, just over 2 minutes, and Toronto back in it. 27-22, back to a 5-point game with just under 6 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter.
Inside, you have to take away the inside at the halfback spot if you're TJ Lee there, because that's the easier throw for the quarterback. Inside slant, so you take away the inside leverage, and then Polk runs the out. The ball's where it has to be, and we're at a one-possession game.
So a touchdown pass, too, for Nick Arbuckle. It had been 5 field goals for the Argos until they finally got the touchdown. And again, how critical a game this is for Toronto at 5-9 coming in for fading playoff hopes. The odds of second in the East certainly went down with Montreal's victory. So wanting to protect third and make the playoffs and prevent a crossover, and their teams ahead of them in the West. Winnipeg and BC. Oh, big hit coming in. That's Jack Cassar, one of their special team star on that return. How about that collision?
Wow. Kickoff cover. Cassar's not picked up, not blocked, not blocked. Time it up, time it up. Oh! Yeah. I would suggest a guy with the amount of special teams tackles that he's registered, he's tied for first in the league. Was last year. And you better block him.
Yeah.
Get a man on him.
That was Robert Carter on the return. Bearing the brunt of that. First down at the 39. And no. Argos defense needs a stand here as well and get the ball back. 5-14. And a 2nd and long coming up. Cameron Judge coming in there on James Butler.
Yeah, I want to say that's 3 series in a row where Buck Pierce calling plays here is called a run on first down. Not had a lot of success in it. Talk to us about maybe getting too conservative with the lead late in games and not finishing the way they'd like to.
Up over the ball now, the BC Lions at their 41. A 2nd down and 8 for Nathan Rourke. Empty backfield. Pressure's coming. Gets rid of it quickly, but it's off the fingertips, and they whistle it down. Tavares McFadden selling the interception, but it definitely hit. And off the fingertips of the Lions receiver, and we got a third down coming up. Toronto about to get the ball back.
Well, either way, a quick 2 and out. I mean, it's a difference in big-time field position. McFadden thought he had his 6. That would have tied him for the league lead with Devon Campbell of the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Aiden Eberhardt, the intended receiver, off his fingertips. So incomplete. 3rd and 8. And Meyer to punt. And momentum is swinging. Late in this game, the Argos get to within a score again, and getting the ball back here. 2 returners are back for it. Janari and Grant to take it inside the 25. For a 46-yard punt. Good coverage. BC have another look at a near interception for Tavares McFadden.
Yeah, let's see how close McFadden was here, and this is really not on Nathan Rourke, because he hit Eberhard right between the hands, goes through his hands, and that bounced. Yeah, you can see it hit the turf.
Argo football. The 27. Nick Arbuckle. Last pass he threw was for a touchdown to Mackay Pope. Under 4 minutes to go now. First down pass Jake Herslow, but a flag is out again as Herslow tries to drive his way closer for a first down up around the 35, but this is coming back.
Yeah, I think it's coming back. Oh my goodness. I think John Boss is getting another one.
He's having himself a night in a way that no offensive lineman wants to.
See the official call here, but it looked like he may have...
Major foul, face mask, Toronto number 51.
Yeah.
15-yard penalty. Remains first down.
He's on Betts. Straight up the field. And right in the face mask.
He started at right guard and moved out. Brandon Kemp, the left tackle, off. So Ryan Hunter moved over to left tackle, and Boss has been in much of this now at right tackle. But yeah, he's been flagged a lot. That one pushes them back to the 12 and a 1st and 25 now. Deep in their own zone. 3:40 in the clock. Down by 5. Nick Arbuckle over the middle. It is caught by Vital. Underneath. Get some of that yardage back up to about the 23, but still got about half of it back. Still need another good chunk if they're going to keep this drive going.
Timeout, Toronto. Timeout, Toronto.
They had 2, so if they don't use it before the 3-minute warning, they'll lose that timeout. So a good decision here by Ryan Dinwiddie, but he said that there was another 5 seconds came off the clock. They're gonna make that adjustment. Yep.
Put that time back on. 3:28. But a big 2nd and 14 coming up here now for the Argos.
Mike Benavides, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, has dropped his secondary off in these situations, but it's not 2nd and 20 this time.
Here we go. Pressure underneath again. After the catch, Spencer Brown gets by 1. Gets to the 35. He had to get to the 37 for the first down. So we have a 3rd and short coming up here, just a couple of yards shy.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean, Rod. They're going to call it on the line, but that's what I mean about, you know, when you're 2nd and long, yeah, you can drop off your DBs and linebackers deeper when you're 2nd and 20. 2nd and 13, 14 is different. A check down now to a tailback, and you can go get and run for the first down, and that's exactly what Spencer Brown does.
He did. He got it up to the 38, so he just got it. First down. And that's David Ungerer coming back to the ball right at the 45. So it was 2nd and short coming up. So for Dinwiddie's offense, they had 1st and 25.
Wow.
And a couple of plays able to get just enough with Spencer Brown to move the sticks. 3 minutes on the clock. And they just called the 3-minute warning. What kind of finish do we have in store this Friday night in Vancouver? The Argos desperately needing a win. Down 5. Mike Benavides, defensive coordinator for the BC Lions. That defense faced with a challenge now with the Argos having the ball up to their 45, continuing their drive. It's a 2nd down and about 3 yards. They are down 5, and we are late. Grey Cup MVP Nick Arbuckle back in Vancouver, under 3 minutes and counting, on the 2nd and 3. Caught, 1st down, Herslow. Across the 50, and then a little bit more. So the drive continues here at BC Place.
Get up and call the play on the line of scrimmage. Clock will start when the ball is whistled in. Toronto still has a timeout.
Arbuckle. And no. A little bit too far, intended there for Pope. They hooked up for a touchdown the last time out, but incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up.
TJ Lee on the coverage there. That was into the boundary, and Lee was close enough that I think Arbuckle was just trying to lead Pope far enough to keep Lee out of it. And it was a little too far.
TJ Lee, 11th season, but just 2nd game back. Lions bringing it back. Stayed in shape. Wanted to make sure he was ready. The call came, and it did. Now a big spot for him in that BC defense. 2nd down and 10, Arbuckle. Pressure, and it got to him. Gets rid of the ball. It is out. Josh Woods has it. BC football. Mittal takes him down. And did Arbuckle's arm start forward when that ball came out? It's Lions ball.
Well, we'll take a look because Matthew Betts down at the bottom of your screen is coming around the edge, and he comes out of a cannon here. One more speed rush, get the hands away, come around. There's the strip from behind. Ball is out.
The previous play is under review by the replay center.
So
automatic review because it was a turnover and called a turnover on the field. So they'll have to see enough evidence to overturn that.
The question they'd be looking at: Did Arbuckle's arm start to move forward? In which case it'd be an incomplete pass.
Oh, we can slow it right down for you. When Betts gets there, the arm comes around. The arm is back to throw and hit.
He had cocked back his arm to throw it. It's just the timing of it all.
Well, it's the timing of when it came out of his hand, because his hand follows through on it. It's out of his hand there, and then the hand follows through.
He did have that follow-through motion with Betts already on his arm.
Not sure there's enough evidence. Yeah, I'm not sure there's enough evidence to overturn. Even if it was called a forward pass on the field, is there enough evidence to overturn that? I'm not sure.
So they called it a fumble, though.
Yes.
They got to be able to decide if there's enough there to overturn it. Otherwise, it's a strip sack for Matthew Betts in a big moment with BC football. Here's the announcement.
After automatic review by the replay center, the ruling of a fumble is confirmed. It's 1st down.
A sack earlier, a strip sack there. What a night for the CFL sacks leader, Matthew Betts.
Well, I mentioned that this BC Lion team can improve their defense by about 20%, 10 of it coming from number 90 over the last 3 weeks. This team can be a contender.
Now the Lions can put it away. Still lots of time, 2:20 on the clock, but they've got it starting in the Argos zone, a running play. pick up a couple more yards, but it's going to still set up a 2nd and long after that James Butler carry.
That's the 4th series in a row for the BC offense that Buck Pierce has run the ball on 1st down. The last time they threw it on 1st down, they had a touchdown drive. And I'm wondering if he looks back at this video, even if they hold on to win here, they look back at the video and say, well, we got a little conservative there again with about 6-7 minutes to go.
2nd and 8 now at the Toronto 48. 2 minutes to go. 4th quarter pressure. Gets rid of it. Oh, the catch and the carry. Xander Horvath put his head down on Willie Brew. He kept going. And we know Horvath can run with power. He did last week in Calgary.
Well, he knew where the marker was, and there was no shot he was running out of bounds there. He lowers the pad level, and that's taken on and throwing the tackler to the side. There's Willie Drew coming up. Pretty good hit on him, too, right there. And he just get out of here.
I was going to say, get out of my way.
Get out of here.
Not only the contact, a little shove afterwards. I got a 1st down to get here, and he didn't quite get it, but got that much closer. Xander Horvath, big day, filling in for James Butler last week at McMahon Stadium. And it's Nathan McManus had him.
Come on.
But Rourke spun out of it and makes sure he gets BC's 1st down.
I think Wade McManus had him short. He had him short.
Timeout.
And he can't believe it. He goes off the left side. McManus steps up. You see him on the right of your screen and has him in the backfield. And then the spin out of that catch. He's got, I mean, that's that lower body strength. He had him there short. They were getting the ball.
Seen that on longer runs too, like the one at McMahon, the long touchdown run, that lower body strength you talk about from Nathan Rourke. Not your average running QB that way. His work does get it.
And that's not your average tackler at middle linebacker either. That's one of the best in the league in Wade McManus.
Who also could have been considered for Grey Cup MVP, the game he had last time he was here against the Bombers in the Grey Cup 10 months ago. 1st down BC. Running again is Horvath. Xander Horvath.
I asked Buck Pierce this week after Xander Horvath's big game against Calgary and that start and getting James Butler back. I said, hey, Coach, what's the chances of maybe both of those guys being maybe a 2-back set? He said, well, you know, we're thinking about different things, different looks. Didn't want to give up too much information.
Freshening it up on the ground, though. And Horvath, those numbers last week, 12 carries for 152 yards he had in the touchdown against the Stampeders. And we hadn't seen him tonight on offense. We had on special teams, but he's making some plays. Get another chance to do so as he pushes his way through down inside the 25.
12-yard average versus Calgary. LA Chargers draft pick. But you know, the thing I saw watching that Calgary game, didn't call that game, but we're watching it on TV and saw the combination of power and quick feet, quick twitch in his breaks. That's a tough combination to tackle.
Been working for him right now, just barely inside the 20. Under 45 seconds ago, they're just running it down. They're running it down the Argos' throats. Not going to give them a chance to get it back. The time of the clock down to 37, and it's suddenly the Xander Horvath show.
Well, Horvath doesn't mean that you don't want to play James Butler, but think of the combination of the two of them, even to give Butler a break during the game so he has fresher legs. I mean, Butler also catches the ball well out of the backfield, and Horvath did not have a catch against Calgary. Was only targeted once, but
memorable day for him, and this is shaping up to be a memorable finish for him as well, as they're just inches away. Well, another 1st down that would effectively put this away. 37 seconds. Argos may not have a chance at all, and BC in great scoring position to improve to 8-7. They're awfully close to getting over 500, and said if it finishes this way, the Argos will be 6 points behind the Lions with 3 games to go. Now, there are other crossover considerations. Winnipeg coming in at 7-7, same record as BC.
Rod, you're doing the math again.
I know, I can't help it. I think of all these scenarios. A big one for the Bombers tomorrow.
Well, I mean, look, it's that time of year.
I like doing all this.
Yeah, I know.
Figuring out all these possibilities and what these games mean. And you got the Ticats in Winnipeg tomorrow. So BC hangs on 8-7, and you got the Bombers at 7-7. And currently
play tomorrow.
Yeah, and BC would jump ahead of them for now anyway. When they have a tied record, Winnipeg has the tiebreaker, so that's why we have them at 3rd, and the Lions in the crossover position. But that would switch at least until tomorrow, when an injured player getting helped off, Anthony Lanier. Awful sight to see with the help that he needs to get off the field late in this game.
Well, and the Lions will play Calgary next, as we've mentioned, but won the first matchup. So as far as
last week.
Yeah, as far as their season series.
Well, what a big matchup looming. Yeah, next week at BC Place. Stampeders losing to the Alouettes earlier today, and the Lions about to wrap this one up. A 3rd and inches. Take a miracle for the Argos now, and Rourke keeps. Nathan Rourke gets. BC continues this drive to close it out. Up by 5, 17 seconds on the clock. And that will do it. Not a perfect night for Nathan Rourke, but certainly effective enough with big plays for that Lions offense to get the job done and win a 3rd straight, and a big one too to get over the 500 mark at 8-7.
Well, and that Calgary game looming. Remember, the Lions scored 52 in that one. Calgary 23, because they only face each other twice this season. So.
And the Stampeders lately trending the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
They lost the Labor Day rematch in Edmonton. They lost that game to the Lions. They lost today to Montreal, and here comes BC. Their 8th win of the season. Against 7 losses, for now into 3rd place in the West. And the Argos playoff hopes dwindling that much more as they fall to 5-10 with only 3 games to go.
And Matthew Betts continues on a tear. He is the leader of that BC defense that is improving slowly and has over the last 3 weeks.
Very different appearance at BC Place for Ryan Dinwiddie and the Argos, and a much different season for them after winning it all 1 year ago. Now on the threshold of not getting a chance for any kind of repeat. Playoff hopes fading. And Nathan Rourke and the Lions, 8-7 record. Another victory for BC, and 2 more big games tomorrow as we keep calculating. I'll get you into this, thinking of all the scenarios tomorrow with Hamilton and Winnipeg. And then you got the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Edmonton Elks desperately needing a win. Argos desperately needed a win, but they did not have enough on this night. Doubleheader tomorrow again on the CFL on TSN. It's getting late. Still more football to be played, though. Thank you for watching this doubleheader of Friday Night Football. SportsCenter is coming up on TSN. Good night, everybody.
Monumental day in the CFL.
This will mark a major evolution of our game.
Are you concerned you will lose fans off of today's announcement?
I don't. I really don't.
New rule changes are garbage. It's garbage. The rule changes, to me, make it sound like we want to be let lead down south. The worst part, I think, about it is the fact that the people who play football, who have the football knowledge, were not consulted about this. We have a commissioner who hasn't been here for a year, who's already trying to change the game. And I don't believe he loves football as much as I do, as much as many fans do. And what we're moving towards is not Canadian football, a game that I grew up loving, that I'm passionate about. Frankly, makes me pretty pissed off.
It's been a busy week for Lions QB Nathan Rourke. After the CFL unveiled rule changes to the game beginning next season, BC's signal caller has been the league's most vocal adversary and even made time to meet with Commissioner Stuart Johnson to express his concerns. While the team is supportive of their leader's passion, they're also hoping to see some of that translate on the field as they host a desperate Argos squad. Rourke has thrown for over 300 yards in 8 of his last 10 games, on pace for his first 5,000-yard season. Lions down 6-3 in the second. Rourke overthrows his man and is picked off by Benji Franklin. Rourke's second interception of the game, his second multi-interception game this season. 5 minutes later, Rourke finds Justin McInnes, sheds a tackle, and dives in for the score. Rourke's West-leading division-leading, 23rd touchdown pass of the season makes it 10-6 Lions. Now 13-6 BC, under 30 seconds to go in the half. Rourke, he's picked off again. Rourke had 4 incompletions in the first half. 3 were picks, tied for the most in his career. Somehow the Lions still led at halftime. Lions up 1 in the third. Rourke hits McInnes over the middle. Rourke moves into second all-time in passing yards by a Canadian QB. He becomes the second QB to reach 10,000 passing yards. A few plays later, Rourke punches it in on the sneak for the major. Rourke's 25th career rushing score. BC trying to go 6 points clear of Toronto for the East crossover. Now in the fourth, Argos down 27-15 with just 6 minutes left. Nick Arbuckle finds Polk for a 7-yard touchdown. Arbuckle back after missing a game due to a calf injury. His 26th passing TD makes it a 1-score game after Toronto forced to stop a chance to take the lead. Arbuckle is strip sacked by Mathieu Betts, and BC recovers. That's third sack of the game. 9 sacks in the last 3 games, leads the league with 13 on the year. Ensuing Lions possession, 3rd and 1. Rourke is stopped short by Winton McManus, but spins out and picks up the first down. BC wins their 3rd straight and moves a game over 500.
I've got the best teammates in the world. They didn't let me hang my head for a second. Was making some errant throws out there, and those guys picked me up, and no one pointed fingers at all. We knew we weren't playing our best on offense, but defense balled out, special teams balled out, and win. It's really hard to win in this league. Sometimes you forget that. So I'm really happy with what it turned out, and obviously got things to clean up. But when you can get these ones, that's a good thing.
So Nathan Rourke continues to rack up the accolades. He becomes the second Canadian quarterback to surpass 10,000 career passing yards. He also became the first Canadian QB to eclipse 4,000 yards in a single season. He's already the single-season passing leader among Canadian QBs, a feat which he accomplished last week.
Meanwhile, Stampeders taking on the Alouettes, both Vernon Adams Jr. and Davis Alexander back from injury. And with the win, Alexander can become the first quarterback in CFL history to win his first 9 starts. First quarter is 4-0 Montreal when Adams hooks up with Jalen Philpott for the touchdown. Philpott facing his twin brother Tyson in their second career meeting. Stamps taking a 7-4 lead, but it's Alexander with an answer.
Down there. Hold it to a gain of 1 on the flip underneath. Now Alexander, he throws over the top. Dropped it in the bucket for a touchdown.
No rush there from Alexander, who hooks up with Charleston Rambo for 42 yards. Afterwards, Alexander with some words for Clarence Hicks as the Owls take a 4-point lead. Final minute of the half. It's now 18-7 Montreal. Adams is what makes him so dangerous. He takes off using his legs, running around 2 defenders, gets some blocks. It's a 21-yard rushing touchdown. Adams' second rushing touchdown of the season. Calgary trailing by 4 points at the half. But in the third quarter, Adams looking to pass. He's sacked by Isaac Adeyemi Berglund. It's his second sack of the game. We'll hear from him in a bit. A little bit later, Alexander drops the snap, recovers, throwing on the run, and it's Tyson Philpott making the catch. A pickup of 28 yards, leading to a Shea Patterson rushing touchdown. Adams looking to respond on the ensuing drive, but he's picked up by Tyrese Beverett. Beverett with his third of the year. It led to another Patterson rushing touchdown to make it 32-14 Owls. Fourth quarter, Stamps down 15, going for it on 3rd and 4. Adams is sacked. His helmet comes off. The play is blown down for player safety, resulting in a turnover on downs. Meanwhile, Alexander showing the message, I love Canada and the CFL. He had a career-high 350 passing yards, becoming the first CFL quarterback to start his career 9-0. Yemi Berglund had a message after the win.
This is the same team that was 0-5, 9th ranked. All over TSN, 3-Down Nation. This is the same team, trials and tribulations. But this is Montreal. This is Montreal. And nobody comes in here and takes it on our house. Sorry. We've been here. We've been here. We practice like this. We play like this. We're built different. In Montreal, in the 4-2-5, we're built different. Fans built different. Stadium built different. We got it here, and we had it all year. We had it last year, and we're building on it, and you continue to see it. You will continue to see it.
Yemi Berglund and the Owls have looked different recently, especially with Davis Alexander coming back, and that win makes things that much harder for the Argos to earn 3rd place. If they can match either the Bombers or Lions in points, the Argos would get the crossover spot. With more, here's Kate Burness.
Alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Siegel, and what a return for Davis Alexander. We were waiting 8 long games for him to come back, and we were all a little concerned about maybe pushing it too much. We didn't want to see that hamstring obviously pulled again. But it was as good as it could possibly be. Yes, there were 350 yards. Yes, it was the 1 TD, but it was everything else he brought to. It was the energy he brought to the team. He saw his teammates around him. He was getting the fans into it. The defense played exceptionally well, too. And I just think with this whole combination right now, this is a very dangerous team heading towards the postseason, Milt.
Very dangerous team. And I knew Davis Alexander would have an impact on this team. I thought it would take 1 or 2 games with him being out, 2 months, but he came in, stepped right in, and didn't miss a beat. He's a special player, and this team understands that. If you watch the way this team reacted when he was in the game, the way they celebrated around him after the game, this team knows that now they're special. They can beat anyone, and because they have their special quarterback now. So the way they're playing, the way they're reacting off of Davis Alexander, if I'm an opposing team, when I see him on the field, I'm nervous because they know they can beat anyone as long as he's behind as their cornerback.
Every team in this league is as good as their quarterback play. And you notice that. The Montreal Alouettes, without Davis Alexander, 3-7. And they average 23 points a game. That's not enough to get it done regardless of how great their defense plays. And you saw, and can you talk about what he brought? The energy, the fans, his teammates. It's just a different ball club out there. And I think it goes to their defense. They're a confident defense when they have him putting up points. They're a rested defense. And then you look at the guys he targeted. If Snead had 10 targets, Tyson had 8 targets. These guys he's got his main guys, and they looked almost unstoppable. I don't think he was running as much as he would when he's fully healthy, but right now, the way their passing game looked, this team is, if not the team to come out of the East, definitely right there as a threat.
His energy, his leadership is transcending beyond just the offense. You saw Yemi Berglund, you saw Beverett. They made plays, and they are playing with that much more energy, that much more enthusiasm. And you talk about, we always say, right, defenses win championships. Right. But when you got a quarterback like that, oh my goodness, it just makes it so much easier. We saw the interview post-game. We saw how you're acting. And this is a huge statement. You talk about even the teams that beat them over that stretch of they had a little stretch where they started losing games. This is a completely different game. This is a different team. So even if you beat us, if you see us down the stretch in the playoffs, we're a different team. So this guy is him. He is that guy for this team, and they are glad to have him back.
Are you kidding me? We all watched Isaac Adeyemi Berglund after this one, too, and just the passion that he showed, too. And by the way, I'll give more love to defense. The sack race between him and Matthew Betts right now, too, it is getting real tight. Great defensive battle, and it's great to have Davis Alexander back in the CFL.
And we've got another doubleheader on Saturday to wrap up Week 17 in the CFL. Here are the odds courtesy of FanDuel. The Blue Bombers hosting the Tiger Cats as a slight favorite. Hamilton has covered the spread in 4 of their last 6 road games. That's followed by the Rough Riders visiting the Elks. Saskatchewan is the Grey Cup favorite at FanDuel, just ahead of Hamilton and Montreal. All right, still inside SportsCenter, a coaching rant for the ages. The WNBA semifinals get heated on and off the court.
And all of them said it wasn't my call. I don't know. I didn't see it that way. Awful.
Plus, Rory McIlroy guaranteed a win at the Ryder Cup 2 years ago, and his putter did most of the talking on day one. But was that a bigger headline than Scottie Scheffler's tough day?